He's very much at home. Grubby, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, viewers and listeners. And I'll tell you one thing that did come out of yesterday, right? You reckon Busey was smart. I asked him who Gordon Tafe was. He had to look it up on Google. So that's how clever he was. But today, we have bought an absolute legend. I'm not quite sure he was as good a player as Busey, but he wasn't too far from it. One of the Werribee Central's greats, Bacchus Mars greats, Carlton greats, and Werribee Heath Buck. Welcome, mate.
Thanks, Grubby. That's it's quite a nice introduction, mate. I don't think I was that good, but no, it's a pleasure to be here. It's brings back a lot of fond memories. This place coming in here and typical sort of breezy, sunny, warmish sort of GDFL final game. It's going to be a hot one today, but yeah, it's a great place. Love it.
Before we introduce Smitty, which we still can do, before we do that, you're saying come in here, right? Now, I just looked up the corner. There was a couple of blokes jumped the fence. That wasn't you again, was it? Like you did back in 2000.
No, I couldn't do that today. I had my daughter playing netball this morning, so that would have looked a little bit funny.
Well, it looked funny when you were playing too, and you jumped the fence.
And they had a great win this morning in the under-17s, Werribee Central. So they go through to a prelim final next week, and I think they play East Geelong again, Grubby, next week, so that should be a good one. But no, I love this place. This is a magnificent ground, and I'm actually really looking forward to today. I actually can't split the top four. I thought Belpost would get the job done last week against Geelong West, but today, it's going to be a close one. I reckon these two sides, Bannockburn and Belpost, still would fancy themselves getting through to next week's prelim.
I think they definitely will. Now, a bloke who's got Heath Buck and Busey well covered, former Geelong champion, Dale Smith. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, we won't go that far, mate. But thanks. It's nice to be back here on a Sunday afternoon. And for all football purposes, let's hope we get something similar to what we had yesterday, because that was a ripping game to watch and also to call. So we're looking forward to that. And if we can get it, it'll be great. We don't want a one-sided affair like we saw last weekend.
Bucky, the season's finished at Werribee. Have you started the analysis for 2023 already?
Yeah, look, it was a thoroughly disappointing season, Rob. From a playing point of view, performances weren't up to scratch, but we can use all the excuses in the world, injuries and a lack of numbers at certain stages, but really, we were well down on talent. The effort was pretty much there for most of the year, but we finished off in a really disappointing way. We had Winchelsea late, and last game of the year we'd set ourselves to at least get a scalp before the season finished, and unfortunately they gave us a bit of a touch-up. So it was a really sour way to finish the year, but Prizzer and myself are getting stuck into the recruiting right here, right now. I can't really tell you much on that front, but we have got some players in mind, and we really need to build this club back up, because we certainly are lacking a little bit of talent on the field.
In years like this, when the team hasn't gone so well, you look for positives, and you must have been internally really thrilled. Tyler Crennan, good finish in the Neville Whitley Medal and Team of the Year. That's a great year for him, and he's probably taken his game to another level.
Oh, he was outstanding. His second year at the football club, came across from Werribee Districts. Was a Centrals junior, but spent a few years at Werribee Districts, had a couple of years off, and came on board last year. Was really good last year, came runner-up in the best and fairest behind Brad Carlton, and this year got himself super fit over the pre-season. And I thought, when he's up and about, he's one of the best midfielders in the competition. He's quick, he's courageous, he can kick goals. I reckon he could be, if we could boost our midfield, I reckon he could be one of the most dynamic small forwards in the competition. But unfortunately, when we're lacking numbers in the centre, we need him to be playing a midfield role. But he was outstanding and thoroughly deserved his spot in the Team of the Year.
Yeah, definitely.
With no help from me either, I can promise you. It wasn't.
No, he was duly noted by the other coaches, and that gives it another tick of approval.
And he's a standout, and I think, he's got silver service. I mean, Paddy Daly in the ruck, certainly gets his hands on it. He's a big boy. And those two work really well in tandem together. So, no, he was fabulous. He was by far our best player for the season, most consistent, and he should romp our best and fairest in. He should romp the best and fairest in this year.
Grubby, you found another member of the family to bring down, so we'll get into the club a little more detail. There hasn't been a lot of talk about Werribee, but today we'll focus on them a little bit. Who have you found?
Well, we found the coach. He was the co-coach for a couple of years with COVID and that, with Nick Smith, and he took over on his own this year and under unbelievable circumstances with injury, which you don't see very much of that in the GDFL. But he's here today just to tell us a little bit about it. Reece Brisbane, thanks for joining us, mate.
Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, I don't like to use that excuse too much, Grubby, but we have used the injury card a bit, but every club gets them, but I think we were hit harder than the norm.
I'm not sort of making excuses for you, but I went down to training one night. It was 16 out of your best 22 not playing. Now, I spoke to Buck Donoghue and said, how would you go with 16 of your best? He said, we wouldn't win. So it was tough there for quite a few weeks when you were 16, 15, 14 out of your best 22.
Yeah, that's it. I think pre-season we sort of have a list of 30 that you think if any of those played on us any day, you'd be comfortable picking them. But like you said, I think by round 6, I think I was looking to select maybe 10 of them out of the best 30. So, we lost a couple even before the season started. We had a couple of blokes go away for work to South Australia. Dave Sablich, who was a Team of the Year player, was umming and ahhing for a few months with his second kid and then decided it was too late. And I think we might have got him if we had started 3-0 rather than 0-3. And Connor Cunningham was our best player, and obviously he went up to the GFL to play for Lara, which we supported that decision because he's a huge talent. But, these sort of players we sort of thought we were going to have, and then last minute they left, and then, the injuries to our stars in the first month became difficult.
Just on Connor Linehan Cunningham.
Yep.
It was a good thing to do that, what he did. A lot of kids go up there and have a go at GFL and they're not quite good enough. He comes second in the best and fairest at Lara, which is a mighty effort.
Yeah, look, since I've been down at Centrals, you could just tell that he was a class above. Not sure if he had the right networks or the right exposure to sort of get to that higher level. So I sort of got him down to the Werribee pre-season through a few resources and just said, look, he's pretty raw, but just give him a go. And he doesn't say much. And I was in constant feedback with Michael Barlow and Mark Penaluna about him. They said he's got a bit, but he's probably not quite there yet. But send him. I said he's probably not best to come back to our level at his age and his skill level. And I just got into contact with Carson and tried to get him to Joey's, but I think he might have had a network at Lara. And then we played him in a practice match. I'm not sure if you remember. And he started on ball against us, and I think he had the first 4 clearances and the first goal, and I just thought, no. It was good while it lasted.
And the funny thing was, at that stage, he was still umming and ahhing. Yeah. There was a chance he might come back, but that sealed it, that practice game. He was, he dominated. He was super. His
brother Bryce, I've got a lot of time for him too. He's not that far behind him. Are you going to hold on to him, or he might go the same way?
So he almost didn't play for it last year, and then he was umming and ahhing, and we got stuck into him, and he had a great year. You're the same as me, Grubby. I think we played intra-club, and I think he kicked 7, and he might have been on one of our better defenders in the game, and I'm just thinking, this guy can really play. I don't know how he just had 2 years off and not interested and whatnot, and this year, definitely. He was getting offers. He was getting headhunted. So we got him signed away last week, I believe it was, or straight after the Silly Sunday antics.
Oh, yeah.
I think he enjoyed his company and realised that, like others have as well, like your Matty Millers that don't want to leave because they can see we are in a window, although we had a bit of a mulligan year this year with what happened. But I think those internally know that we're not far off if we can just get a few pieces and get our best players on the park. So Bryce is going to be a big part of that, both forward or back.
What about Reece Brisbane? You've played at Werribee, Lara, a lot of representative teams. You've been a very good player over your career. You're probably on the wrong side of 30, and you've had a pretty good year. Do you go on as player, or you still got another year in you on the ground?
I want to, yeah, definitely. I had a very poor year this year. Got a couple of injuries. I'll be the first to say I didn't work hard enough. I think I focused too much on coaching. Not that that's a bad thing, but I think it just got a bit hard, and my footy sort of went backwards that way. But definitely, I've always said, if I'm in the best 22, why wouldn't I keep going? If I can help the group.
Exactly.
As soon as I become, a hindrance or a liability out there, I'll definitely step away. But I know once I retire, Bucky always says, once you give it away, you're going to get 5 years down the track and regret it. So I'll hold on for as long as I can.
Well, unless you come back and get 2 votes in the best and fairest and the Ivan Tanzing medal. What a joke that was.
Haven't stopped hearing about it all week.
Oh, I can't believe that. But I noticed, this year, and a couple of games, because of what you have done, sides sent people to you. That makes it even harder, don't they? Actually tag you, and Tyler Crennan runs around and gets 42 touches. I mean,
yeah, it becomes quite. I say it to him because you can normally tell if I've got a relationship with their coach that you can see the kid comes to me or the bloke and they start roughing me. I just laugh and go, you got the wrong bloke. You know, Matty Miller or Tyler or Zach DeLeon or Jesse Patterson or whoever may be in there. And then Bucky said, you know, Tyler gets it on a platter because I just go and block and make a 2-on-1 and people. And then eventually after he's had 30 possessions in a half, they normally go to Tyler. But it's too late because once he's up and running, you can't stop him.
You mentioned the bloke in there, Jesse Patterson.
Yep.
I've seen Jesse Patterson play, and at his best, I believe he's your best player by a long, long way. But he's had so many hamstring injuries. Is he going to go again? And if he does, first hamstring, I think he might chuck it out, will he?
Look, we're hopeful, Grubby, that he. I mean, he's obviously the last one was horrific. He'd never felt that amount of pain. We feared that he'd torn the actual muscle, you know, off the bone. It would have required surgery, but it wasn't as bad as initially thought. So we're pretty confident he'll come back. He's a ripping clubman, really popular around the club, and I actually see him as one of the not only you're saying one of the best players in the team, and I see him as a future leader of the footy club.
Yeah.
Whether that's captain or vice captain or in the leadership group, he trains probably harder than anyone at the footy club. He's a great social person. He's just a pure football person, and we'll be we're working really hard for him to get his mind and body right. But it might be just a change in roles for him moving forward, because we thought he was over those issues. You know, like I think he string about 6 or 7 in a row, Prizzer, and was playing super footy, and then that one just came out of the blue.
Yeah, double one, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he was playing a lot of midfield minutes during that time. So he'll get some work done, maybe seek some extra help, maybe send him off to Germany.
Yeah, I got a pair of shoes coming from Germany. Tell him to belt their blokes up.
No, but you're right. He's a super talent and as I said, a great club person.
As long as he doesn't bring his uncle back, because he just wrecked the club. He's an idiot.
Ricky?
Ricky Governor.
Yeah.
Keep him up at Tokemore.
No.
One story, a kid that I watched from under 10s was, I don't mean to have a go at him, but he was the last bloke picked every week. He sat on a bench every week, all the way through the juniors. He decided to come down to Centrals and have a go. He sat on their seconds bench for a couple of years. He played a couple of senior games. Daniel Tarasio, what a story that is.
Yeah, it's.
Did he earn them games?
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Look, we've talked about our issues we had with selection this year and injuries and whatnot, but I think we played 45 in the end in the seniors, which, you know, you can look at the people we might have played that weren't up to it, but we exposed a lot of kids who are clearly up to it for the future, which is one positive you can look at. But Dan Tarasio, maybe it might have been selection, because like Bucky with the Jesse Patterson, he's a great clubman.
Yes,
he's at every function.
Yep.
He trains a lot. He trains hard. He's pretty quiet and modest, and he's always says hello to you and things like that. But we threw his name up, and you know, the reserves coach Ryan Quarry sort of scoffed and goes, "If you had told me he'd get a game a couple of years ago, I would have thought no chance." But
what I said to my son.
Yeah, and he came in, and everyone. When I announced his selection on the Thursday night, the boys were wrapped. Like I said, great clubman. It's probably more excitement than I've seen in other people that we announced.
Wish I'd have been there.
Yeah, and he came in, and I think his first game was against Inverleigh.
Inverleigh, was it?
So hard assignment straight up. And he looked comfortable, comfortable enough. I just said to him, I don't expect to do anything spectacular. Just go out and beat your man and handball to the first bloke you see what happens. But then, like you said, against Anarchy the second week, he was spectacular. He was one of our better players and looked comfortable. And, you know, he might be one who gets a bit of confidence from next year, and you never know.
One more question.
Yep.
I cannot have an interview with Reece Prismal
Here we go.
before you actually tell us just how good was your old man
Oh,
Clint
okay.
as a footballer and a cricketer. Because if he's listening, he'll want you to tell him how good was he.
I thought you were going to go a different direction
No.
there. I always say it to the old blokes, Grubby, when there's no footage of your games, because DVDs and VHS didn't exist, you can tell everyone how good you were. But I have been to his hometown of Mount Beauty, where there's about 75 people, and they've told me he was pretty good, so I'll have to take his word for it.
Well, I tell you, I saw him. I don't know about his footy career, but I've seen him hit. He'd be the bloke that hit more sixes over Churnside Park into the river than anyone's ever done. He was
with 2 knee braces on and a
couldn't
VB
walk.
stubby. Yeah.
They just smashed them everywhere, then took 5 wickets. Rob, you got a few?
Yeah, Bucky, you might be the right person to ask. Reece touched on the fact that the injuries caused you to bring kids in prematurely. Have you found half a dozen senior players, or have you damaged some confidence in
Nah,
some of those young blokes?
Definitely.
We blooded four under 18 players and an under 16 player. Who you guys, I think, saw.
Yeah, we saw him. Yep.
Tyson Stevens, and we're quietly confident that two of those under 18 players is still under 18s for next year. Could be regular senior footballers as soon as next year. That's Kai Gomez and Max Murdoch, who unfortunately broke his collarbone on the eve of the under 18 finals, but he should be right to go for the pre-season. But they're two players to look out for the future, and the other two guys, Henry Egan and also Ryan Young, they're top age, so they'll come straight into our senior sort of club next year, whether that's reserves or seniors. Hopefully they're put in a big pre-season. But as Pris has said, I mean, the positive out of this year, we had to blood them. We had to blood some guys from the under 18s and obviously a kid from the under 16s who ended up playing. How many games, Pris, did Tyson Stevens? He would have played 10, possibly?
Yeah, and he's backing up every Sunday in the under 16As too.
Yeah,
Division 1, so.
And there's no doubt that he could, within 24 months or so, would be a regular senior footballer
He
as
looked
well.
very likely.
Yeah, he did. So that was one of the big positives. But, as Prison knows, we need to not only get some talent in, but we need to boost the list. We need to get some players. We've got 8 coming up from the under 18s this year, come straight into senior footy, whether that's seniors or reserves. But we also need to recruit some depth players as well from other leagues. Brad Carlton. Yeah, look, dislocated his knee in round 1. Just right on the halftime siren. It was a really flattening experience because we were actually right in that game. Really close game against Inverleigh on their deck, and it did flatten us a little bit, although we did kick a goal straight after that. But, they really ran away with it. And Brad, if it had been a situation that we were, looking to play finals football, possibly he could have, got himself fit. But we pretty much put the cue in a rack sort of mid-season and just said, mate, get yourself ready for pre-season. But, he's the captain of the footy club. He's probably going to have to do a lot of work Pris over the pre-season and get his body back right. Yeah. But we're confident, that he's only, 23 years of age. That he's got plenty of good football left in front of him. We missed him. We missed him in the guts, his hardness. He's just a quality footballer.
For the junior section to be pulling a 16-year-old out to play in senior footy, it's a great buzz for the whole club because all those kids really attach themselves to that, and they know that the club is looking out if they are trying harder, and it probably lifts the whole joint, doesn't it? Yeah,
well, it is, because our under 16s are actually in the WRFL. They're actually not in this competition. So one of the real challenges for us is to keep those under 16s. From under 14s, they start to get poached from Werribee districts and other clubs in the the WRFL, and we had 5 under 16 players leave last year and go to Werribee districts, really good footballers. So now if they see opportunities to come up and play under 18s or even come in and play senior football, it's about providing that pathway, which maybe hasn't been there before. Because it's a really interesting situation. Our juniors are not in this competition. A lot of parents are really conscious about, whether they want to travel to Geelong every second week. And that's been a big issue for us moving forward.
And again, we spoke to you last time you were in about selling that message, because you've experienced it, many others at the club, and wouldn't have it any other way. They really enjoy this comp, and the travel's really not all that significant, really. It's only 20
minutes. I listened. I was heading down the beach yesterday, and I was listening to you guys with Andrew Buse talking, and I mean he was glowing of this competition. And he's coached at many levels and obviously played at many levels, and he loves this competition. I wish I could cut that little bit of audio up and play it to the parents in Werribee to listen to a legend of the AFL.
We can cut that up for you.
Yeah, that'd be great, because if Andrew Buse likes this competition and thinks it's great for kids coming through, then I think parents from Werribee Centrals would love to hear that.
Yeah, it's very good.
What's the level like in WAFL? Like, their seniors and that seem to have had a lot of problems with punch-ons and all that. What's that like in the juniors?
I think it's a big issue. I know growing up, you used to have a lot of clubs like your Port Colts and that were a little bit rough. But when I was a junior, that was 20 years ago. So it all changes, and I know in Division 2, it's been a little bit. rough around the edges this year. There's a few punch-ups, a few games. Got called, I think, early in Division 3 as well. And look, we've actually had a player who's approached us that wants to leave that sort of aspect of that league and come to us, which is really positive.
Don't ask who it is.
I would never, I wouldn't. But, this competition, the whole Geelong bubble, I've heard from people who haven't played it before go, that Geelong footy area in every tier is strong and it's very good culture and competitive. I said it is. And I remember experiencing it. Lara, the rivalries you have of decades against other sides, and also, you read the Geelong Addy and they talk about you like you're a bit of a rock star, even though you're just a local footballer. And I think it is good, and people talk about it down here. It's not footy mad.
Reece, question for you. I've spoken to teams in both the netball and footy about the slight disconnect with your club, because you are up that way. There's a lot of guys down here and girls who are really good friends, socially around Geelong, play against each other, and they've got this warm and friendly GDFL family thing. You're part of it, but just on the periphery of it.
Yep.
Does that help sell your? It's sort of an us against them type periphery. The
He's
edge.
a fireman. You're not going to understand that.
Private school boy. Anyway, I know what you're saying.
That you use it as a bit of a tool to say it's a bit of us against them, but still take all the good parts about the GDFL.
Yeah, you do. I know Nick Smith, it used to be a big part of his philosophy, was that, it's us against them, and always wanted to be that hunter mentality.
Yeah.
I know internally there is still talk that, it's sort of us against the other 11 or against that.
Yeah.
But I don't feel it that way. But I do like to promote the fact that, because we do struggle to recruit, because we're out of that bubble, we're in that metro area, and, you get clubs sort of in that EDFL or Northern Footy League or Western region who are trying to poach players, the same players we are, with bigger salary caps and less travel and all that sort of thing. But we do sell that to them that, it's a Geelong bubble and it's sort of us against them, and we can go down there and we sort of, want to stick it to them a little bit. Or careful what I say, but it is hard to recruit in that aspect because we are out, but there are the positives as well. People who have experienced it understand it, but people who haven't, it is a hard sell sometimes.
And of course, when from your era, Bucky, when
tax time means money back to you. Davidson's Accountants can help you get expert advice on what you're entitled to claim. Davidson's Accountants are Geelong's leading accounting firm, known for their professionalism, expertise and knowledge. 9 out of 10 clients would recommend them to others. Phone 5221 6399 or visit davidsons.com.au to book your face-to-face or online appointment today. Mention the Pulse to get a 10% discount on the cost of your tax return. Station sponsor.
Okay. The premise of the question was you were dominant and you're a little bit away from it, and people were, it's bloody Werribee buggers. But if you're in Geelong, you can go out and have a beer and diffuse that a bit. But it's sort of built, I reckon, during that period of time.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, I came from back of Smash, and I had an option to come back to Werribee because my parents lived in Werribee, and there were only really 2 teams that you could go to. There was Werribee Centrals or Hoppers Crossing. And I chose Werribee Centrals because of this league. I wanted to come down and play football in Geelong, and for that exact reason. And I felt it. I felt it right the way through, and that's probably why Nick. I played a lot of footy with Nick. There is this massive rivalry between the 11 other clubs and Werribee Centrals, and you feel it. You feel it during the game, you feel it before the game, you feel it after the game. I don't think it's anything spiteful. I just think it's just a wonderful aspect of the competition.
Well, I'm on the periphery of the GDFL until recently, so I knew a bit about the league, but I come in. What I sense is that there's a bit of those mongrels, but there's enormous respect still. See, I was talking to Troy Colliger the other day, who you played against.
Yes.
The respect he has for your club and the great players like you that he played against, that lasts forever. So that they're not. It's not a permanent thing.
Oh no, and we played. What was it, Grubby? Five grand finals in a row. Yeah. I think the first grand final at this ground when the GDFL came here, 97. We played the first 5 grand finals. They were all against Bannockburn. They won the first 2, and we won the next 3, and it was really bizarre, to come here, and it was almost just expected that we would continue that legacy of Werribee and Bannockburn. But unfortunately, our rivalries, as much as they were great against Bannockburn, have drifted away a little bit since, not so much our demise, but we certainly have struggled over the last decade or so to be to really build those rivalries again, because we haven't played enough finals football.
Bucky, serious question. What would you
I don't know if this is going to be serious.
What would you call a bloke who would put a full bag of lollies in front of a diabetic? You've got to be joking, Smith.
Well, he obviously doesn't want you commentating today.
I'm getting up and up and up and up here.
Oh, dear. All right, the recruiting, get back to that.
Yep.
You're not going to give us any names, but are you really comfortable that if everyone who's committed this year arrives fit for pre-season training, you add a couple to it, expectations at the start of round one, you think you can immediately come back and be a finals contender?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we had aspirations this year. I personally, and I've always said this to Priz, that even without the recruits, we need to recruit. I don't think we're a grand final team. I think we can contend to play finals. So about bringing these recruits in now, maintaining the guys we've got, getting the guys who've had long-term injuries back on the park and performing. There's no doubt that we can rise up the ladder pretty quickly. But the problem you have is there's some quality teams in this competition. You know, they're really even across the board. And I think Grubby, you'd probably know a little bit better than me with this, being around, doing this for such a long time now. Teams are better at sustaining that competitiveness. Not necessarily winning. I mean, Balbo still dominated, obviously, the premierships, but teams are a lot better at not falling away really quickly. Yeah. They build a sustainable sort of brand of footy, and they're really competitive. So it's about now, who are we going to replace? Are any teams going to fall away? Because we need to be going past teams that have proven this year they're a hell of a lot better than what we are.
Just quickly, we'll give the second score because it's really interesting. 16 minutes into the last quarter, Bannockburn would have started warm favourites. They're 5-6-36, but the underdogs, Geelong West, a 6-10-46, 10-point lead, probably about 3.5, 4 minutes to go. Bannockburn in the forward line at the moment. We'll keep you posted.
I think Prizzy would probably agree with that. I mean, the top five, even Winch, Thompson, and you'd probably expect North Geelong, particularly with Andrew Buse and Jackson being there, that they're going to be a little bit stronger next year. So the teams are really even. This is a really even competition at that sort of top end. Yeah. And I just feel they're a lot more professional than they probably were back in my day at committee level, and also at being able to, as I said before, sustain it for a period of time.
Yeah. Like with you as a coach, can you teach blokes like Paddy Daly? Paddy Daly does his job in the ruck and he's fantastic, but he still doesn't know how to play football. He can't kick very well. He doesn't know where the ball's going. And once he does, well, I think he'd be too good for this comp. But once he do you get in and teach him? You get coaches that not ruck coaches because he can already do that, but just coach him about how to play football. Yeah,
Paddy's a very hard worker, and he knows his deficiencies and he works on them probably more than anyone does at the club. And we are, but the hardest thing that we know at this level, Grubby, is you train 2 nights a week.
Yeah.
And then you play. And I'd love to say we're going to train longer, we're going to train more often, but blokes have lives, blokes have jobs and families, and the blokes, at the end of the day, the people who want to put in the work to get better will be the ones who do it. Yeah. There's a reason Tyler Crennan gets a lot of the ball because he runs all day on his days off, and he's as fit as a fiddle. And you talk about Paddy's ruck work. It wasn't that good last year. It's gotten better because he works on it. Yeah. And he's a very raw footballer, as you said, and even later in the year, this year, there was a game, I don't know who it was, but he would have taken 12 to 13 marks, which, the year before he was lucky to take 2.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's he can runner-up in the best and fairest, I believe, and he'll go close again this year. But as long as he's improving, but like putting it on me and the coaches and the other coaches, it is hard. Yeah. It is hard. They've got to want to do it. And if you're taking all this time into him in your 4-5 hours a week of training, someone else is suffering. Yeah,
and I can see that because you're obviously you'd have to be disappointed. I go over to training quite often, and a number of times when I get there, and there's 30 players on the track. Now, early in the year when I used to go over, there was 80.
Yep.
So we just haven't got. I know we had a lot of injuries. Yep. But even some of the seconds players, they know they're going to play.
Yep.
So the training numbers did drop off. You'd be disappointed in that.
It was, and we want to build a standard that, if you don't try and train 2 nights a week, you don't play. But we simply are at the point this year, embarrassing as it sounds, I was calling up blokes who have played 10 senior games on a Friday and go, I haven't seen you all week, are you available?
Yeah.
To play seniors, not just to play reserves. And, we're hopeful that we'll get to a situation where, you will have competition for spots and blokes will be putting pressure on one another to get to training and do the right thing. But unfortunately this year, and even then, we had older blokes with family commitments that were training 1 night a week, and what can you do? You're not going to turn away a good player from the club because his kid has swimming lessons on a Tuesday night.
Well, yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? So
that goes back to a kid like Cam Keenan. He was a very good junior footy player.
Mm-hmm.
He got into the seniors, got reported straight away, and he didn't get back. But if you can get a bloke like him, which is going to be hard to do because he's half a brain sometimes, Cap. But blokes like that within the club can help too. Like he can play a bit.
Yep.
Sirens gone here. Geelong West have defeated Bannockburn. They will take on Inverleigh in the preliminary final in the reserve grade next week. 6-10-46 defeated Bannockburn 5-8. 38 reserves football, a shock, Grubby.
It is, and just looking at Priz, I think he's had enough. I can look into his eyes, he's thinking, all right, I've had enough, you blokes.
Well, that's fair enough.
I've got to get over and watch the wife in the A-grade semi-final.
Oh, yeah. Well, good luck for that.
Melissa had a fantastic year. The side seemed to be a bit sneaky. Looked like they've been laying off mid-year, but the last month has been pretty powerful. They had a chance to sneak this?
I believe they are. I get the rundown every Saturday night about how I get about 2 minutes in for my game, and then she talks for the next 3 hours about her game. But they have a very good list, their side, but they are an ageing list, and they know that. And I think there's been a lot of times this year where they've just haven't got everyone together at one time. But when their best players are on the park,
their last month has been really, really impressive. And they take on Thompson, and that's a bit of a Bannockburn-Werribee sort of rivalry that's built up on the netball court as well. Still, I will go back to you in the studios. Reece, thank you very much for your time to drop in. Best wishes for the rest of the, for the pre-season, and good luck for the start of 23. Still, I will go back to you in the studio, then come back and have a look at the first semi-final of GDFNL football. This is 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
them twice, and I just think they're the most organised team in the competition from my point of view. I think they just use the width of the ground really well. They keep their shape. And there's no doubt on this ground, they know it really well. They've got a lot of experienced players you've been there, done that before, and they've got some youngsters with terrific leg speed. Young kid that really impresses me for Belpost Hill is Josh Andrews. He's got plenty of pace. I'm really interested in the mindset today, Rob, with this one. We've got the old Warriors up against Bannockburn. I reckon there'd be a few seeds of doubt just creeping into Bannockburn at the moment. They weren't great last week, and Belpost Hill have obviously got all the momentum, and they play this ground really well. So I've just got a sneaky feeling Belpost are really just setting themselves for this one, and they should get the chocolates.
Can I butt in? I've spoken to Ron Pilgrim this morning. The foot injury that Jack Broman had was a bit earlier in the season, and it's 100% now. He has not got a foot problem. And all the shoulder last week, it popped out, popped straight back in again, and has trained the house down this week. Fully fit Jack Broman, right?
Okay.
He need Grubby. I mean, he's a star. I mean, when he's on song, particularly forward to centre, he's got beautiful skills. He's a good mark for his size. He's a really, really difficult matchup because he can grab it above his head, Dale, and also really good at ground level. I just think he needs to fire. I mean, I know it's a turn game, but you need your superstars to fire in these types of finals. And I hope for Bannockburn's sake that he is fully fit and ready to go, because I just also the fact that he's co-coach as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the leadership fact.
Hey, Bucky, you might be
really
the wrong
important.
person to answer, seeing you still actually haven't retired yet. But when you're at the edge, and then Belpost Hill have probably got 6 or 8 blokes who have been here, played in premierships, know what to do.
Yeah.
But they realise that it's their last chance. Pretty dangerous combination of skill, experience, and desperation.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because all those experienced guys have experienced multiple premierships. Some, I think Andrew Fantella, is it Adrian? I think he's played in 7. So they know what it's like. I mean, it's an addictive feeling to win grand finals, and they know this will be the last shot for them. But at the same time, if Bannockburn can get on top, how much do those guys really want to push? Considering that they've been there before, and there's a mentality then come in that, well, I've got 7. Does it really matter? Particularly if Bannockburn are switched on today and really take it up to them and get a lead.
Grubby,
it might be difficult for Belpost to get back into the game.
You touched on seeds of doubt in the mind. Belpost Hill probably got nothing to lose. If Bannockburn do get a little bit behind, are they more likely to get wobbly?
But maybe. But I just think, talking to the blokes down there, Bannockburn are up and about a bit. They know that they put in their worst performance of the year last week. They know that. And they don't believe they'll do that again. But belief in yourself, that's Tari and Belpost Hill to a T. They believe in themselves. I said Adrian Fantella was finished halfway through the year when we watched him up at Belpost Hill. He comes out on St Albans and he's one of their better players. That's what you've got to worry about. But I've got a question for Smithy. I watched the game yesterday and we watched a couple last week. Belpost Hill know how to play this ground. But even watching such a great game yesterday, did you feel that Eastern Inverleigh still quite haven't worked out how to play this big ground properly?
I'm not too sure. Yeah, look, I suppose they got the conditions yesterday to be able to play some really good football, and they did struggle at times. It was really a game that ebbed and flowed when they took control of it. So again, that when you talk Belpost Hill, they don't care what state of the game's at. They know that if they keep doing the stuff that they've been doing for years, it will then turn and they'll bring them back into the contest. Now, that's where the belief that they have. Now, I don't know whether East, because it's their first time back in playing finals football, and Bannockburn have been there or thereabouts, have they got that same confidence? I think there's a little bit more doubt. And again, I think if you get one of these sides today, especially if Belpost Hill get in front, then Bannockburn might start to question themselves about how they're going to get back into it. If it's reverse, I think Belpost Hill, they just go and play their normal game. So, yeah, look, it's that space between, I reckon, about 30 from goal and about this line from where we sit here that's really important. You need those players to be able to come up and get the ball to that area. And that's where I said, you mentioned just before, Josh Andrews, he played forward in that first final. He provided something different for them because he's got that explosive pace. So he's another kid that can do that role and come up to the ground and then leave Cozzy, leave Etries back behind the ball, and they can go back to Wilford as well as be those options. Because those older blokes, as we know, you only need to get them 4 or 5 touches a game, and they'll kick every goal that they put their hands on. So it's going to be dangerous.
And there's a perception that Belpo still are old and they're good in the contest, and once they get it on the outside, they're nice and composed. They like to control the ball, but they've got some genuine leg speed in there with James. I mean, he's the one for me. If he gets away early in this game, he's the line breaker because, I mean, Andrews is young, played well last week. Difficult to come up again the following week and do what he did last week, but Matt James is now experienced, really experienced footballer, and he's a consistent footballer, and he's the one that Bannockburn will need to put a bit of time in today.
I want to ask you a question about him because I've watched him for a few years, and he's won medals and come second in medals, whatnot, and he gets the ball and runs, kicks at 60, sometimes to someone, sometimes to no one. I reckon 6 weeks ago, Tari's dragged him across the coals and said, you need to be a team player.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, and he wouldn't have done it against Werribee Centrals, he would have just grabbed it and bombed it. But the last 6 weeks, he's handballed, he's kicked it he lowered his eyes and kicked it and handballed it to blokes in better positions. And when he does that, I reckon he's the main thing. Belpost Hill, for me, had no chance for mine. They had no chance. They might have made the 5, or Thompson might have made the 5. They were fighting for that spot in the 5. Then all of a sudden, they look like as good as anybody else in it. And I put that down to the change in the way Matty James plays. Not going to win a Whitley, but they might win a flag.
And he's a very hard player to tag. He's got a pretty good engine, and he's pretty tough.
Yeah.
He's pretty tough. So
Got him.
you go in with the mindset that try and work him over a little bit, but it doesn't bother him.
No.
So yeah, he's the one for me. I mean, if he can get going and he's switched on, and as you say, Grubby uses it well, lowers the eyes, and obviously Tari's got a set game plan where they don't want to bomb the ball and be too chaotic with the ball forward to centre. He's the one on this ground. He's got the space. He can get into open space. He's good on the inside. He's good on the outside. He's a terrific player.
And to both ears, we had this question last week. It's an even bigger question this week. Belpost still struggle in the ruck. We know that.
Yep.
Timmy Barton's going to have to go there. Now, Fulton. I've seen Fulton destroy Werribee Centrals in preliminaries and everything and give Broman everything and win the game. But he needs... I don't know who's going to kick their goals. If he goes down there, he's such a tough matchup. Can one of the Coles go in there and they'll still win the ruck? But you need them to kick goals today, even if there's a win advantage.
Yeah, well, Benny Cole will definitely start in the ruck today. I've got no doubt that he'll start in the middle because of that fact that Belpost still haven't brought anyone new in. He knows he's going to go up against Jack Yates.
No, he's not. I've told Tara, you put Jack Yates in the ruck, I'm going to knock you out.
The other option they've got is Luke Mann that they've been using because they won't use Tim Barton initially in the ruck position. Now, if Fulton does go forward, I wouldn't be surprised to see Timmy Barton go back there. While McNamara is probably a good lock-up player to play on him, I just think Timmy Barton will be the type of bloke that will get underneath him a little bit and just push and shove him and try and take him off his game. But as we said, as Bucky said before, if then you have Jack Broman as another option in that forward line, you sacrifice a little bit because I think Whitley Middleton, he'll be starting on James. There'll be no doubt about that. And I think they might use Jai Robertson as a backup plan if he doesn't work. So and then you leave the ball of Lockie Middleton in the middle to get the ball out. So what you're saying, Grubb, is yes, I think Fulton today he starts forward, and I see that Benny Cole will go in there. And they've also got Josh Cole that can actually do a bit of ruck work as well. So the longer that Bannockburn have the luxury of being able to leave Fulton full forward, you know that they're in the game and they're going okay. But as soon as they bring him up, I would think that they're starting to worry a little bit where their game's at and what they're going to do.
Got a late text. Give Bucky a full-time job. He's fantastic.
Oh, beautiful.
Mark Spider Brady.
I was going to say...
Well, there you go. Spides had the job next week. He's just sacked himself.
And at the other end, I mean, I think it's an interesting dynamic up the other end because obviously Will Ford, he just gravitates the pill. I mean, they go to him, and he's a terrific forward. I mean, he's another one that doesn't quite easily get put off his game. I think he likes the attention, and he's a beautiful kick. He can jump. It's an interesting ground, this one, Grubb, as a forward, particularly that type of forward where work rate becomes really important.
Yeah.
You know, he won't want to get into the situation where you want to wrestle in the goal square. You need to get up the ground and use the space, get back. But the guy I want to put it on today for Belpo still, because I believe I'm coaching Belpo's today, Grub, is that correct? I want to put it on Nick Costello. I think he could be potentially the guy that could turn it on today. I think a lot of attention will go into Will Field. And the day we played Belpost the second time, we put a lot of attention into Will Ford, but it was Nick Costello who got under that.
Kicked about 5 goals.
I think he kicked 6 or 7. Yeah. And I think he likes his ground as well, and I think he likes the big stage as well. As Busey called it yesterday, showtime. Showtime for these boys.
Well, centre half forwards probably more important here than anywhere else, isn't it? Really?
Well, we used to play. Basically 3. Like we play 3 quite tall forwards, and we rotate just because it's such a big ground. You require huge. We had Calvert, myself, and Ghost. We'd spend some time in the goal square, sometimes at centre half forward. Sometimes we play.
You wouldn't want to be a back on them days.
No. But sometimes on this ground you've got to play 2 centre half forwards.
Yeah.
Then you'd have a Lukey Luddick, who's more your Nick Costello type player in a forward pocket. And then you have your smalls around them because it's so big. It's so big, but you can get caught into bombing it and then wrestling with your full back. You need to use the space. So I'm not quite sure about Will Ford's endurance, but he can leap. He's got a great lead on him, and he's a beautiful kick. But I'm going to watch him really closely today to see how hard he actually works.
Who gets him, Smithy? One of the Bowdens?
Oh, yeah, Luke Bowdens definitely starts on him.
Yep.
Yeah, he's probably got that job. I think most times he's tall. He is quick, and he can obviously contest the ball in the air, and that's what he's got to be able to do, and at least bring the ball to ground. And I think probably his brother probably goes to Nick Costello to start, unless they use Clifton. But I don't know whether they'll want to do that just yet.
One of them's probably got to pick up Ettridge as well.
Yeah,
he can be dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, a bloke like Spiller, I'm not too sure where he starts in this game.
He'll be back, I think.
Yeah, he'll be definitely back. Yeah. But I'm just saying who his matchup will be. I don't know whether. I reckon he might take one of the lesser forwards and be that bloke that can get off the half back line.
You were talking, Dale, before that they might have to play Barton on Fulton if Fulton does start forward. But he's your classic centre forward on this ground.
Oh, yeah.
Hard-working, pushes up the ground, good set of hands, tough, reliable, calm, steady. So that takes a little bit away from Belpo still. I'm not quite sure who they've got sort of around the centre forward region if Tim Barton plays full-back this afternoon.
See, that's where Tari's a bit different to most blokes too.
Yeah.
He really doesn't care about the opposition. He cares about what they control, and that's their
what
side.
He does. Yeah.
So he mightn't even go down that path.
He might just put McNamara there and say, that's
exactly
your job
right.
today.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
if we need to change later, we will.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's had players that do. Like, Attila Sulix was another one.
Yep.
He had to play on, I think it was Broman or someone. He went up to him and he said, which one's he? They don't even know the opposition, but they beat him.
I mean, just looking across, Bannockburn look a much bigger side. Height-wise, they look a lot bigger. They just look physically stronger, but not necessarily saying they are, but just across the board in terms of height, they've definitely got an aerial advantage, Rob.
Match winners, Heath, you mentioned Jack Broman. He's certainly the one that's capable of doing something that no one else can when they need to manufacture a goal. Nick Costello's the one. Every game we've seen, he might be out of the play for a quarter, but he's always been able to kick a goal at an important time in the game to change it. And I agree with you. He's the one I'm really looking forward to today to do something a bit special if they need it.
Oh yeah, and it's I mean, forwards, they can be out of a game for a half. And get a bit of a rocket at half time. But as long as your forwards are working, their work rate, they might be in position to be getting the ball. They might be doing everything else right, defensive pressure. But for me, it's about work rate. These forwards work really hard. They get plenty of opportunities on this ground.
Still, I would go back to you to get our sponsor up and away for the first quarter here in the first semi-final GDFNL football.
There's really no one you're going to tag here at Bannockburn. That, again, gives him a bit of freedom to run around and get plenty of touches because he's a class player.
Yeah,
No.
There's 6 in the defence. Barton's loitering around in the centre square.
Well, there has to be 6 in the defence, Rob.
Yeah, well, there's 6
all
already,
about.
so Barton's not going there.
Yeah, they're not going to ruck Van Teller, I can tell you that. So
he's off to the wing, so Timmy Barton starting in the middle and on a wobbly knee. He's
continued to walk.
He's very slow going to his position, just a bit of cat and nose. Starting to rush.
There's no one else in there. Surely they're not. I told him you cannot use Yatesy.
And Fulton has gone forward as Grubby suggested.
And Roman has gone to centre forward as well. So
yep,
all set up. Well, it is first semi-final time. We're really looking forward to this. If it's half as good a game as yesterday, it will be a ripper. Dale Smith,
take us away. Yeah, we know.
Take us away. Take us away.
Sorry.
Siren sounds, and we are off. And for tomorrow, there is nothing left for one of these clubs. So the ball in the air in the middle of the ground, over the top, ball comes down. Pataglia from the middle gets the ball, goes into the half-forward line. In front, Robinson. Quinn does a nice job, gets to the ball, knocks it towards the boundary. It's going to be the first time it goes over. And as I said, on the far side of the ground, we're going to have a throw-in to take place in between half forward and centre wing.
Interesting matchup, boys. Josh Andrews on Jack Broman. Went straight to him.
He's got the pace and the jump. That might be handy. So ball thrown in now by the umpire. And again, Barton front position. Ball comes out. Picked up there, Whitney. Got through the contest very nicely on the left boot. Goes back into the middle of the ground. Looking for Harmer. He's gone past the ball. Back up. Support arrives for Bannockburn. Handball comes out into the hands of Jervis now. Looks upfield. Goes low. Goes flat and over the top to Fulton. Actually nearly caught it between his toes then. Ball hits the ground. Picked up by Harding. Got the ball out. Again, Whitney back over the contest. Picked up Hetherington, I think it was. Got the handball out. Goes in towards James. He tries to walk through the contest. Couldn't do so. That was good work there. And I think that was Harmer or maybe Whitney again, but the ball comes out and it's marked by Kerins on centre wing. He'll go short. We'll find Flacavento. And he's come up the ground in the last couple of games and been pretty important for them. Out to James now, the running player. Looks to get over the top with a handball to Fantella. Gets the handball back, runs through the middle of the ground, looks out wide. Mark will be taken out there by Harmer. So Harmer now just on centre wing. Goes into the half-forward line. Kick was okay. Mark was a taken. Yes, it was, says the umpire. And it will be Timmy Barton that gets from the ground with the ball in hand. So Barton now, he's loading up and going long into the forward line. Ball won't get past Cole, although it does come out of his hands. Picked up, Ettridge along the ground, and that is a good start. Jaden Ettridge, as he said, he doesn't need too many of them, and he can make you hurt. First goal, bell post still, they are one straight. Bannockburn yet to score. 2 minutes gone, first quarter.
It's on here too. There's a bit of a punch on down the forward line. Let me get the binoculars on this, Bucky, while you talk.
Yeah, interesting one, that one, because Dylan Whitney, the kick previous to the one he got in the back half, he went into a really dangerous spot in the centre. They were actually quite lucky, Belpo still, that Bannockburn didn't score from that forward entry. But the second one, he went wider. And what they do really well, they, as I mentioned before the game, they use the width of this ground better than anyone. And they're not afraid, Grubby, to go into the centre of the ground, then go to the outside and then come back around again. That was terrific play.
Exactly. So Cole gets that tap out, but James picks it up for Bell Post. Hill takes a second bounce, running away from Middleton, kicks under pressure, but it lands into a hot spot in the forward line. Players attacking the ball. Yates is first on
Free kick.
He was grabbed by the jumper, and the umpire said he didn't have the ball, and he will go back and take a shot for goal. He's a bit better than 45-degree angle, probably 35 metres out.
And already Matt James causing a number of headaches through the middle of the ground with his pace.
Well, they couldn't catch him, could they? And again, like we said before, handball, lowered the eyes.
Yeah, very good start. He was the best player last week. Started well here. A lot to do with this kick from Yates, but it's off to the left. And in fact, is going to miss everything. Out on the full it is. And Lewis Clifton for Bannockburn will take the free kick in the back pocket.
Got to ask you, Smithy, if they mark it between their toes, that's a mark?
Mark it anywhere you like, grab, long as it's under the ground, huh?
So Clifton, who we rate his kicking very highly. The young fella bursts away from the pack. Neat little pass. Wow. He's missed his target already. Jack Yates picks up a crumb, kicks it back into the danger zone for Bell Post Hill. Harmer's trying to get there first. There's a nest of Bannockburn players. The ball comes out. Flacavento hand passes to Sable. He quickly kicks across the body, but that's heading more for the car park than the goals. Out on the full. And Lewis Clifton will take a second free kick in the opposite back pocket this time for the Tigers. They are down 1 goal at the 4-minute mark of this, the Common Nafeen Hotel first quarters. Clifton comes out, neat little pass, and finds Lockie Middleton. Centre half back. He's been in good form all year. He'll be a very important player for them today. Pass down the log, looking for Hetherington that comes over the back of the pack. Basely gets it, a neat little kick from him, but Spiller intercepts it. Hasn't gone the required distance, had to kick quickly. Sable picks up a crumb. His kick is intercepted. Players dive all on top of the ball, and the umpire has no choice but to throw it up.
That was a great smother.
Just
Needed to do it too.
It's a dangerous part of the ground, Grubby, to turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Bannockburn.
Just on the edge of the centre square, that tap out by Cole. It goes to James. He's tackled immediately, lose possession. Richie gets the ball. Ettridge intercepts, but Lockie Middleton takes it off him. Bursts through the centre, kicks down looking for Fulton. He can't quite hold the mark. Harding does a very good job to stop the flow, but Bellpost Hill going forward, but a clever little interception by Battaglia for Bannockburn. Gets it back to Lockie Middleton. Kicks into hot spot. Coming out is Fantella. He's going to get there first for Bellpost Hill. Hand passes to Sable. Sable over the top to Quinn. Quinn to the running James, and a second bounce takes him outside 50. A long pass down to the wing. Doesn't quite get to its target. Bannockburn Jervis picks up the crumb, and a neat little pass finds Richie in the centre of the ground. Tigers setting up another attack now. Long, low drop punt right onto the chest of the leading Kieran Fulton. And he marks about 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Disappointing for Bellpost Hill there. Matt James, great kick, but couldn't pick who it was who dropped to number 22.
Harmer, yeah.
Harmer. Yeah, went to ground. Got to keep your feet in that situation. Turnover, chance for a goal for Bannockburn.
Matty James has pinched about 4 metres on the mark there very cleverly, so he's standing nearly on the 50. And Fulton now will kick from 55. It is a long kick. It's certainly going to get the distance, and it's got the accuracy, and that's the danger that he can provide the Bellpost Hill defence. Big goal to the big man, scores a level 8 minutes into the Common Nafina Hotel first quarter.
Well, that's what we were worried about before the start of the game with Kieran Fulton going down there. But I honestly am never going to understand, you'd understand it more than me, rotations. We'd gone 6 minutes and Dylan Whitney's off the ground. Why does that happen?
He was off after 2.
They'd have a set time, Grub. They'd have
Benny Mule lasted 20 seconds.
Probably a 7-minute mark that these guys come off, have a breather and come back on.
He's already back on already, and it's still only 8. I can't understand that.
Ball back in the middle of the ground this time. Cole goes over the top, wins possession. Sable tries to win it out, but in the hands of Battaglia. He goes long, back into the forward line. Players will come from behind. Barton, big spoil from behind. Ball hits the ground, coming through. Battaglia once again goes out. Well, was Tristan to lock, and it's picked up there by Broman. Tries to work the ball out of that contest. The players over the top. Umpire will come in and take possession. Just outside forward 50.
Battaglia very busy early. For Bannockburn.
There's 2 of them.
The number 9. Is it Tristan?
Just for you, Rob. One's wearing long sleeves, all right?
Thanks,
So
mate.
the ball thrown up this time. Cole taps the ball outside, picked up there. Andrews got the handball away, went to Jones. Jones has another one of the young ones that's got a bit of pace, goes back with the kick and goes back towards Cole. Picked up there. Sable gets the handball out. Didn't go too far before it went back over the boundary line. We're going to have a throw in, which will take place. So umpire with the ball. Man's back in doing some ruck work, takes front possession, ball comes down, went back towards James and also has support there. Ball is kicked short and low, good kick into the hands there of Vasika, and Vasika now has got some short options further afield, goes back. Sable was good last week, real good last week, and played a pretty important role. He goes back along the boundary line, coming to Jones. Jones has got the ball in his hand. Looking to play on now, looking for some options. Decides now just to go long, back towards the centre-half forward position, out the back Cole, and here's best position. Will take the mark and steady things down for Bannockburn. So Benny Cole. I don't think there's too many short options for him, so he's looking to go long.
Go long and high, Bellpost.
So Broman's up in front, can't take the mark. Hetherington from behind, takes the ball nicely, got out of the contest, got the handball away to Battaglia. Leading at him was Fulton, but decides to go long towards Peters in the pocket, and it will be okay because he's taken a mark just inside the field of play. Goes backwards to Fulton, played on quickly, and Kieran Fulton will go back now and shoot for goal number 2 early in this first quarter.
I think Timmy fell for the old 3-card trick then. Peters he thought would go for goal, so he ran down and left Kieran Fulton sitting on his own.
He made that kick by Battaglia look pretty good. It wasn't a great kick into the pocket there, but it was a great chest mark, and he lowered his eyes, giving Fulton a chance to kick his second.
So Fulton now to step in. Distance, as we said, from his first kick definitely won't be a problem. Just the accuracy here comes in, kicks that goal, guides it, but it's going to be offline, and it's through for a minor score. That leaves Bannockburn now to 1-1, and Bellpost Hill 1 straight goal. We've played 9 minutes, come on a Fiend Hotel, first quarter scoreboard.
The ball's in the hands of Benny Muir. He's just come off for a rest. Back on the ground now. Low little drop punt into the pocket, and Caleb basically takes the mark for Bellpost Hill. He's going to be a very important player to keep their defence together today. Kicks long down the line, looking for man, but it's off hands over the boundary line. Far side of the ground.
So he'll get 3 votes from you, won't he? Basically, he's already got them, probably.
7 plays here at Gordon Tafe Oval, the home of GDFNL finals footy. We've been spoilt so far, expecting another ripper today. So the ruckman set, Cole and Mann waiting for the ball to come back into play. It had gone over the park and must have found a bit of mess. They were wiping it off with a towel before it comes back into
I think
play.
it landed in the bin.
I think it might have. So Cole gets a little tap down to Broman, comes out of the back of the pack to Jai Robinson. He kicks, Battaglia can't hold the mark, and James runs away. Has his 5th bounce for the game already. Kicks into the forward line, punched away from there by Sable. Vasika's done very well. Jones runs onto the ball, can't quite. He was grabbed by the arm, dragged off it, and Zane Jones will take the free kick for Bellpost Hill.
No, he's allowed to do that.
A neat little pass from him, looking for and finding Kerrin. Kerrin runs around very quickly, kicks, it's touched off the boot, lands in the into the forward line. No player can get a first hand on. The umpire said Bannockburn was grabbed high, and that'll be Connor Jervis will take a kick for the Tigers. He kicks long down towards us. He's looking for little BJ Harding underneath a few taller Bellpost Hill defenders, but he managed to get the ball over the line, which was probably a win for his team under those circumstances.
Looks like a junior football too. It doesn't look that big. They changed their shape or size something like that. Hey?
Nearly
Doesn't it look small?
Yeah, I
does
know.
look
Nearly
small.
came in the commentary box too. Nearly got a stat though.
Ball thrown back in by the umpire. Man, best position, got the handball. Got the punch back towards the boundary line. Runs towards the boundary. Battaglia doesn't even try to keep it in. It goes back over. So we're going to have the same process, which will take place. Interchange lines, and the boundary umpire with ball in hand. So throws it back in now. Ball at the back. Goes to Whitney. Whitney on hands and knees. Got the handball away. Jervis read that nicely, picks the ball up for Bannockburn, goes back into their forward line. Hetherington out in front of McNamara, takes the mark. So Hetherington now wants to go on with it, goes to Richie. Richie's now looking for a ball, going back inside towards his teammate, but going across. Andrews did nicely, got back, helped out, now wins possession of the ball, brings the ball back outside, going back. McNamara just kept his eyes on the ball and took the mark. Looked back inside, Fantella by himself, got down low, didn't take the mark. Time to pick the ball up, shoot the ball back to Whitney. A low kick goes outside and hits Page. Oh, I thought he was going to go then. Umpire's called into play. Chips back up over the top. Battaglia gets back, got the spoil on Ettridge. Spiller couldn't pick the ball up. Ettridge does the right thing, just kicks the ball off the ground. Yates comes at it, collects the ball, or had his head over the ball, didn't pick it up. Spiller was back inside, and again, now over the top it sits. Player is tackled, brought to ground, and ball comes out in that tackle. And again, is picked up and clicked forward there by Bowden. Bowden goes to the half centre wing position, over the back. Andrews went left, then went back on his right foot, looks back inside, kick, went to Fantella in some space by himself. He continues to find some space inside the centre square, goes short, Land coming up at him, he hits the target now, and he swings and goes. So he's looking to drive the ball long, a little bit of candy, got the handball back into the hands of Sable. He runs inside 50, low, flat, goes back towards the goals, runs, and Robinson says he'll just take it across the line, which will square things up at 1-1 apiece. Both Bannockburn and Bellpost Hill as Robinson brings the ball back in quickly. Kick, only just to Richie. Low, and he kicks the ball, goes towards centre wing. BJ Harding's up there. Can't take the marks, got support. Advantage is called now as Connor Jervis picks the ball up. Has his second bounce, will go over the top to Spiller. In a little bit of space, goes back to Jervis. Nothing coming from behind. Gets the handball further afield into the hands there of Osborne. Osborne loads up, goes long, and I think he has put it right through the middle. Wade Osborne, he gets his first goal of the afternoon. And Bannockburn there second, so they move to 2-1. And Bellpost Hill are 1-1, 13 and a half gone. Fiend Hotel, first quarter scoreboard.
And that's the way, what they didn't do in last week's final. They moved the ball well. And I want to harp on my point. Cozzy come off at 2:21, went back on at 2:22. Where's the rest there? And James just did the thing. No, not even off for a minute, Heath.
Yeah, that was terrific play, though, by Bannockburn. They used the centre corridor there. great by hands, spiller through the middle, and a lovely finish in the end. That's probably the best passage of the play in this first quarter. It's been a bit of a stalemate so far. Very defensive game.
Both sides using the ball very well. We're back in the middle. Cole gets a tap out. Richie takes it away from Dylan Whitney. Kicks forward looking for Osborne, who's just kicked that last goal. It's Will Middleton slaps the ball forward. Battaglia cleverly gets it down into the path of running player. Goes past him. Bellpost Hill tapped it back. Broman hand passes looking for Osborne. Misses him. Osborne whacks it back into play to help a teammate, but Caleb basically picks up, neatly kicks the ball down for McNamara. He cleverly gets it, forced to kick quickly, and the ball's gone out of bounds, and the umpire said, that's okay.
That's what I thought too.
Hey, sometimes these blokes, they think they're doing the right thing by tapping it back into the play, but it would have been better to go out, wouldn't it?
Kill the contest, get a stoppage.
Throw in again. Cole and Mann. Cole double hands it down the front, but Sable gets the ball. Hand passes forward. Vasika can't pick up. Bowden does a very good job to get it to Richie. He's low to Broman. Broman can't control the ball, and it's over the boundary line.
He's doing a terrific job so far, the youngster on Broman. That's a fascinating matchup, that one. Looking forward to seeing how that one pans out for the rest of the day.
Cole and Mann again. Cole down to the front to Broman. Broman hand passes quickly to Richie. Richie's kick is brilliantly smothered by Dylan Whitney, and will have a secondary boundary thrown right in front of us here. Score 2-1-13 Bannockburn, 1-1-7 Bellpost Hill, coming up to 16 minutes into the Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter here.
It's great to see a smother all the time, but it's even better when one of your class players do it, because some of them class players don't tend to do those things.
It's a team lifting thing too when someone smothers like that, Grubby.
So Cole and Mann. Cole again on his own, gets it double-handed down to the front of the pack, looking for Broman, but his tag is about 1 millimetre away, as he's been all day. He's not giving him any space at all, and he's got the leg speed too.
No, but when you dominate the tap-outs, you've got to start hitting it to somebody. You just can't hit it anywhere.
They come again. Mann this time might have got most of that. Sable gets a quick hand pass from Jones, but he's tackled immediately, not going anywhere.
Over the shoulder.
Oh, the umpire's gone. Shoulder. Sable's got it. Kicks it forward looking for Whitney, but that is a poor kick in the end. Beats him over the boundary line.
I'd actually think about sending Broman deep and bringing Peters up. I know Peters is coming from the field now, just giving it a different look. I think he's just feeding on at the moment, Josh Andrews, and get him deep, get him out of his comfort zone.
Get him dangerous.
Yep.
So Jai Robinson picks up the ball from that ruck contest. He's tackled immediately. The umpire has no choice but to ball it up again. Umpire's very busy already, boundary and field umpire. A lot of contests being created, but when the ball's away, both sides moving it very well. James is about to pick up the ball. Robinson beats him. He's tackled immediately again. Still not going anywhere. Another ball up.
I know I'm going to bang on this, boys, but Bellpost will be loving the fact that Broman's there, dictating, they're dictating where he's going to be. Send him forward, get him down in a really dangerous spot.
You keep banging on, you won't be here next week.
So Cole gets it coming out of the pack. There is Ettridge for Bannockburn. Slaps it forward. The clever play from Bellpost Hill gets it out the back to Quinn. Oh, Quinn's kick not so good, but it does reach Zane Jones. He gets around a player. He's very patient again. Gets it back to Quinn. Quinn inside to Muir. Muir jumps on the ball.
He's in
he
trouble.
Is tackled immediately.
That is dead
the
set
umpire
holding the
says
ball.
He's in a spot of bother. Battaglia runs away quickly from the congestion. Kicks it forward looking for Fulton. Coming through then is brother of Battaglia. He to Harding. Harding's going to run into an open goal and kick Bannockburn's third for the afternoon. 3-1-19. Bellpost Hill 1-1-7. We're 18 minutes into the Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter.
A little bit unlike Bellpost Hill. Just a couple of kicks, especially a couple of handballs that went just behind the player. If it goes in front, away they go. But it gave Bannockburn the chance to do that, Bucky.
Yeah, their foot skills haven't been right on so far in this game. They're just a little bit rushed, and that's full credit to the pressure of Bannockburn. They're putting under a fair bit of pressure and not allowing them to dictate play through their ball use.
So it's Jack Yates' turn to have a now crack in the ruck now. Goes up against Benny Cole. He goes at the ball. Again, Cole, first one. Taps the second one down. Fantella off the square. Did nicely. Into Sable. Over the top to Jones. A little bit of space now. Looks up. Goes into their forward line. Went to the smallest player on the ground. And ball is now at ground level. Again, picked up. Is trying to be picked up out there. I think that's Joshy Cole. He's got over the top of the ball. Picked up Clifton. He's trying to work his way out of the contest. Won't come out. And umpire will come in. And will take possession of the ball.
Yeah, both sides have done it a couple of times. Kick a high ball to your little players. You've got to be aware.
So ball out the back now. James will run onto it. A little bit of time and space. Looks up. Wants to use the handball, but nothing there for him. So he goes with the right boot back into the forward line. Josh Cole sits himself and he takes the mark. Man was there this time, but again, just the reading of the play. Over the top. Goes short out wide to Ritchie. He's had his number of touches on the ball in the game so far. So Ritchie now to drive the ball around the boundary line. He goes low and flat, but that'll go straight into the hands of James. And for Belpost Hill, and he'll send the ball back into their forward half. Called the play on now by the umpire, and he goes long towards the half-forward line. Out the back, mark not taken there by Bowden. Again, at ground level, players converge over the top of it. Now, if someone emerged from the contest, handball comes out, went back towards Ritchie, and again, he's looking back to deliver the ball back towards Broman. He's up in front. This time, got hands on ball. Gee, I reckon that's tough, that. Bucky, you wouldn't want to be a backman these days, would you?
No, that was a little bit soft.
So Broman now delivers the ball round out of the pack. Basically, good player. This bloke kicks the ball in the centre half forward, goes long, and that's a good mark there for Mann. So Mann now with the ball just on the centre half forward position. A little chip up over the top. Got a player by himself in Page. Can run and go if he wants to. Also looks up. He goes long towards Ettridge. Spiller is there. Got hand on ball. Taps it down front. Picked up Harmer. Coots that goal. And it has gone across the face through for a minor score. So Belpost Hill now 1-2. Bannockburn are 3-1. We have gone just on 21 minutes. Come on, Fiend Hotel, first quarter scoreboard.
There's just inches in it, but one kick went to the wrong side of Man and the centre, but that one went to the right side. And that's what you've got to do all day to win finals.
Jai Robinson has seen Harding out on the half-back flank. He got a chop of the arms from
None of us like that, do we? Don't like
we
that.
don't know. That's not
come on, Quinny!
And BJ Harding, who was down on his best form last game, but he's been a lot more prominent today already. He kicks down the line. Hetherington comes up back. Andrews for Belpost Hill. He can't take the mark. Basically hand passes forward. The ball's gone out of play and we'll have a boundary throw in. Just beyond the interchange gates, Belpost Hill slightly in attack. 11 points in arrears at this stage. 22 minutes into this Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter. Waiting for the throw in. Got Ben Cole and Yates. Yates gets it down. Harding gets a handle on it, but he can't break free of the pack. Players grabbed. Ball going nowhere. We'll have another ball up.
Two players we identified before the game in Ford and Costello. I don't think they've had a possession between them so far in this first quarter.
They certainly have not. Comes down the pack. Andrews is tackled. Jones has been tackled without the footy for Belpost Hill. He'll take the ball. He's just forward of centre wing, only by a few metres, but they're in attack. He goes short across to Matt James. Now he immediately loads up the big, long bomb into the pocket, punched away from the pack. Cole gets it towards his teammate, but Ettridge intercepts for Belpost Hill. Gets the ball forward, but Bannockburn get it back. Harding punches away from McNamara. Another boundary throw in. Fair bit of action on the flanks in this game already.
Doing really well at keeping their shape, Bannockburn, forcing Belpost Hill to kick long to a contest in their front half. So they've set up really well.
Certainly cutting off that easy short kick that they use so well. So they're very disciplined early. That's a poor throw in and the umpires let it go. Jack Yates just runs onto it like a rover. He was in that ruck contest. It's Josh Cole now kicks down the line looking for Jai Robinson and finds him. So Jai Robinson, the little left foot midfielder for Bannockburn, kicks down the line, and that is a very good mark by Hetherington. He's a new player into this side today. Jack Broman might have cleared the path for him to do that. Will Middleton has it. Neat little pass from him, and Broman's finally got some space. Hand passes out wide to Harding. Harding kicks into the pocket looking for Battaglia. Can't take the mark. That is Lachlan Battaglia. And the umpire says it's hit his foot. And Adrian Fantella for Belpost Hill will take the free kick in the back pocket. probably the oldest player on the ground, if not BJ Harding. Kicks down the line. Dylan Whitney up, almost takes the mark. He gets the crumb, breaks free, kicks down the line. But the boundary umpire has said that that's on the wrong side of the line.
Should have paid the mark.
And Bowden for Bannockburn has the free kick.
Harding would be the oldest bloke on the ground by a mile.
So kick down the line by Bowden, looking for Fulton and finds him. He's 48 metres out, right up against the boundary line. It'll take a magnificent kick from here. I reckon if he's a disciplined player, he'll go top of the square or look for a short option. But he's at this stage...
Left-hand post are the big ones.
This stage, he's lining up. He's taking a serious look at this, the big fella. Kicked the first goal of the game to get his team up and about. So Kieran Fulton now kicks long, very long, and just touched on the line.
I believe he's going to play a goal here.
It's over the line. It is a goal. What a magnificent kick by Fulton. Takes him to 4-1-25. Bell Post Hill 1-2-8.
What I can't understand here, umpire never called play on. Fulton was standing inside, so he didn't have to kick it over the mark. And if the bloke on the mark moves, good night, Irene, it's 50. So that was a little bit wrong there.
That's where the umpire probably needs to stand behind and watch where the line is you're actually running.
Exactly.
It's a really disciplined start by Bannockburn. They don't want to kick that ball into a dangerous spot in regards to the top of the goal square or to centre half forward. They want to go to the pocket and not allow Bell Post Hill to set up behind the ball. It's been very, very disciplined start to the game.
So ball back in the middle as we go. Yates got the ball out there into the hands there of Sable, and he got the ball back towards their half-forward line. But Jervy's going back with the fly, takes a pretty comfortable mark, and then we'll transfer play back towards their half-forward line in front. Ettridge out the back basically. It was a push here, was a hand in the back, so it's going to go to Ettridge. So he's going to go quickly now and looks to go back towards Fulton once again. He's out in front, and there's not many blokes, I don't care how big Timmy Barton is, you're not going to mark it or take a ball from his hands when he's delivered like that.
I don't know about you, Grub. This feels like it's getting away from Bell Post Hill. I feel this is...
They won't believe that, Bucky.
Gaining a lot of confidence out of this first quarter, the way they're playing.
They are, and I'll tell you what, Ronnie and Jack, they've got the boys together and said, that wasn't Bannockburn last Sunday or Saturday. Let's play like Bannockburn today, and they've started off that well.
So Fulton to load up from outside 50, doesn't take full advantage. Lent back on the ball and hasn't finished it off this time. He has 2-2. Bannockburn now have 4-2, and they lead Bell Post Hill, who are 1-2. 27 minutes gone. Commonafine Hotel first quarter scoreboard.
So basically for Bell Post Hill, as he normally does at the kick out, trots his full measure, and there's a couple of options in the pocket right on the 50-metre line. Fantella hand passes quickly to James. Kicks down the line looking for Yates. Yates has the ball punched away by Ben Cole. Very, very good job there. And the two of them now will go back and contest for this boundary throw in.
And he's done it well, Ronnie. He said they can have that. 2, 3, have as many as you want there. But they stop it here and then try and get it back.
So the two go at it. Cole's got the extra height and weight, gets it down. Ettridge does a very good job. Clears the pack, gets it to Ritchie. Wins the hand pass back from Ritchie. Kicks into the hot spot. The ball goes over the back of the pack to Battaglia. That's Tristan. He gets it to Fulton, throws it straight up in the air and is tackled. And I reckon he has been penalised as he should be. Timmy Barton will take a free kick for incorrect disposal.
They need to take some sting out of this game, Bell Post. They're really good at it at the moment. They're just panicking a little bit.
Poor kick. Will Ford is in the back pocket at the moment. He hand passes to James. James takes his 6th bounce for the quarter, kicks long down the line. Jack Yates is in front and has had 3 goes.
Needed that.
And will be
paid
the mark. Fantella's running loose in the middle of the ground. James has got it again. He's trying to get around. His hand pass inside to Quinn. Quinn dodges around a player very nicely. Kicks it quickly into a blind spot. Coming out is Ettridge. Can't take the mark. He's tackled immediately. The umpire looking at it, but the young fella... no, he's pinged
I don't think he dragged that in.
Quarter time siren has gone at the 28.5-minute mark. 4-2 Bannockburn. Bell Post Hill 1-2. Dale, who's kicked all the goals?
Goal kickers till quarter time. Fulton has 2, one each to Harding and Osborne. And for Bell Post Hill, their soldier goal kicker is Jaden Ettridge. We'll take a short break, come back, second quarter action here from Gordon Tafe Oval. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
So they were really rushed, and they just needed to take some heat out of the back end of that first quarter. But they continued to try and link up and to rush it, and this insistence on feeding the ball off by hand to Matty James, who started really well, but it's become quite messy, Grubby. It doesn't look like Bell Post Hill at the moment. And full credit to Bannockburn, because their pressure around the ball has been immense. They're setting up really well in their back half. And once they get the ball, they go. And they look dangerous forward as centre, particularly Fulton. He's got plenty of space in front of him.
Yeah, well, they're allowed to do that, of course, because of the lack of the ruckman of Bell Post Hill. Yep. That's all they need, a ruckman, which makes the fact that Kieran has to go into the ruck and they lose a very, very good forward. But, look, there were some pretty good players for both sides, more Bannockburn players, but I think Flacavante got a couple of touches. James was very, very good. Yates was okay. I'll have to put Basely in because Smithy's here. He loves him. Fantella was pretty good as well.
Yeah, I thought Andrews is doing a pretty good job
all
on
right.
Broman.
Yeah.
But will there be a time that where you push that kid up onto a wing, to let the reins off a little bit? Are you going to go too defensive, on a player like Broman, or are you going to get these kids into the game?
Well, if you fall behind at this quarter, the breeze does say it's going that way. So Bannockburn will have it. Bell Post Hill will have it this quarter. And if it comes to the fact that they are a few goals behind, they're going to have to do that because you've got to kick goals to win. But I thought Billy Ritchie, I thought he was down last week. He had a good quarter, Billy Ritchie, and he's one of the blokes I needed to lift. Both Patagulas early, they were pretty good. The Cole in the ruck, which one's the Cole in the ruck? Benny Cole, he controlled the ruck. Lockie Middleton was good early, then died out a little bit. Bowden, well, Luke, he's playing on forward, and forward hasn't touched the footy yet, so I know that's probably from up the ground as well, but I'm going to give him an accolade. Heatheringham's been okay. And I want to put a pat on the back to Spiller. Like, you see James every week, he runs around blokes, and he went to run around him, and what did Spiller do? He just stood still. As soon as he goes one way, James runs around him the other way. But he didn't. He just stood still and said, I'm staying here, you're not getting past me. And he had the handball it away.
I'll give a pat on the back to Hetherington. I thought he was the hard-working centre forward, Dale, that we spoke about before the game. I mean, he presented up really well, took a couple of strong marks, very composed by hand, was willing to give the ball off by hand to a free runner. And what I liked about Bannockburn when they went inside their forward 50, if Bell Post Hill had set up well behind the ball, they went to the pocket, okay, and tried to reset from that position. And didn't play into the hands, Grubby, of Bell Post Hill, one of the best in the business at getting back. And once they get their ball in their hands in the back half, then they go and control the play.
Yeah, and they had to have their backmen had to look after a few blokes because even though they didn't touch the ball a lot, BJ and Link Peters looked dangerous. They need watching.
And up the other end, I mean, we spoke about Ford, we spoke about Costello, and they have not had a sniff. And I know they probably haven't had a lot of opportunities in that first quarter. It was a little bit messy going inside forward 50 for Bell Post Hill. But when your confidence gets down and you haven't touched the ball in the first quarter, it becomes a real mental game in a final. Particularly when you're a match winner, and they're relying on you to kick goals, and you haven't had a sniff and your opponent's on top. I'm going to be really interested to see the way, particularly Ford, goes about it in this second quarter.
Especially if it's the same at halftime after they've had the bruise.
Definitely.
We'll go back to David Steele in the studio for some quick sponsorship announcements before you return for the second
I didn't know what to do when I left
On you, Tommy.
Back here for the second quarter of the GDFL first semi-final, Bannockburn versus Belpost Hill. Bannockburn 18 points in front as we start the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter. What a great game it's been so far, Dale.
Has been so far. Let's hope it continues. As I said, let's hope Belpost get themselves back in. Ball is thrown in the air this time. This time Barton actually got hand on the ball and a second one. Knocks it forward. Richie leads in the race for the ball. Takes it on the right boot. Goes outside. Went towards Jervis. Out there was Vasika. Made a contest of it. Comes to ground. I think that's Andrews head over the ball. Ball is sitting underneath, but umpire said it's going back to him. Have a ball up to take place. Centre wing, far side of the ground. Barton again doing the ruck work, back inside, went towards James. Middleton just stayed off him then. Now James, a little bit of candy, got the handball out to Yates, went back to James, over the top, went to Whitney. He was tackled, brought to ground, picked up by Yates once again. He's over the top of it, and he might be in trouble. No, says the umpire.
He might have got a high one.
Great
Yeah,
pressure.
thought he did from this side too.
Great pressure by Bannockburn from the middle of the ground there. They were out, Belpost.
So again, ball tapped down there. Broman tries to work his way into the contest, can't pick the ball up, and again there's a high infringement there. Timmy Barton was going for the ball, was he? How did he do that? Not too sure what happened then, but anyway, ball's now in the hands of Richie. Richie goes out wide, went looking for Battaglia. He leads in the race for the ball. Good clean pick up, hands it off to Clifton. Clifton on the right boot, goes back to the forward pocket. Hetherington's out in front. Stagger did nicely over the top, sees the ball over the boundary line, which will allow his teammates to get back and add support. So just outside forward 50. Breeze definitely blowing Belpost Hill this quarter, so it'll be interesting to see if they can get themselves back into the contest. The ball from that contest comes down, picked up by Lock Middleton. Handball goes out towards Whitney now. He runs back towards the boundary line on the left boot, chips the ball nicely to Vasika. He's out there and takes the mark. Still defensive side of centre wing. Another short kick, as they do, goes along the boundary line. Ledgrove's there, ball comes out the back. Mann works his way through the contest. Umpire says that was incorrect disposal. He pays advantage now as Richie swoops on the ball, looks to the forward line. It's a low flat kick. Didn't get to where Fulton was. Out the back is Baseley. A little bit of time to pick the ball up. He's tackled by Middleton, but he got the handball away to Staggard. Delivers the ball back towards centre wing. Running onto the ball now is Andrews. He doesn't pick it up yet. He's got some pressure now as Middleton arrives and he takes it over the boundary line. And we're going to have another throw in which will take place. Again, outside forward 50, clubroom side of the ground.
I'm in the bad books with Keats again.
Why's that?
Your umpires for today are Sam Chaston, Will Ross and Harry Gower. Sorry, boys, I got caught up in the interview.
That's,
Good umpires, though.
So ball's been thrown in. Cole and Barton. Barton wins it decisively, slaps it 20 or 30 metres down. Ettridge is first there. He's been pushed in the back. The umpire says advantage as Harmer breaks away. Kicks into the pocket. He's looking for Will Ford. The ball is punched away from him and over the boundary line and out of bounds. And thank you very much, Tyler. So we'll have a boundary throw in. Forward pocket, Belpost in attack. Desperate to get the first goal of this second quarter to keep the game well and truly alive. Thrown in. Ruckman go up. Barton grabs it out. Hand passes it to the front of the pack to Page. He slaps it on his foot into the danger zone in front of the forward pocket. But Bowden and Ford wrestle their way all to the way to the boundary line as the ball beats them both over. We'll have another throw in opposite side of the ground.
So try and lock it in here now. Get some repeat stoppages in their front half.
He's copying me, Smithy. That's my favourite tactic.
So Cole for Bannockburn gets it down. Spiller hand passes across to Ben Cole. He kicks Josh Cole. Sorry, he kicks down the line, looking for a teammate there. Middleton. That's Will's got it, and he escorts it over the line.
They didn't do it, Grubby. They didn't do it. No. Just came out far too easily. Just need their smalls to be working a little bit harder at Belpost Hill.
They got a chance to get it back, though. It's only just out. We've got a chance to get it back in there.
Bannockburn working very hard in defence, as are the boundary umpires today. They've had plenty of work to do already. Barton again grabs it out of the ruck, tries to hand pass away, and is immediately in a great deal of pain, Tim Barton, down on his haunches. Ball bobbles out the back of the pack, and Lewis Clifton. His kick is intercepted by Dylan Whitney. Hand passes across to Jones. He kicks neatly into the hot spot. Coming out is Nick Costello. His first touch for the game. A kick into the forward pocket onto the run of Ford. He's 30 or 40 metres out, left foot back into the hot spot. First there is Jack Yates, tries to pick it up, bursts through the pack, hand passes across to Page. He can't get away. Bannockburn defence desperate. A kick, but it's gone straight up in the air and landed in a very dangerous spot. Can't hold the mark. Costello hand passes quickly out to a teammate. His kick is smothered. Luke Mann picks it up. Hand passes 10 metres back to Caleb Bashley. He kicks into the pocket looking for Ettridge. Beats him over the boundary line. We'll have another throw in. About 15 metres round from the point post. Bannockburn desperately in defence. Done a really good job. Tim Barton is back in the ruck. I don't know what his trouble was over there before, but he's back in the ruck with Cole. He wins the tap out, gets it down to the front of the pack. Bannockburn run onto it first, but carry the ball over the line. That was young Ettridge.
Well, the way he was keeled over, I'm pretty sure I know where he may have been hit.
Jax.
So, boundary throwing where we started a little while ago. 15 metres around from Bannockburn's goal. Cole at the front of the pack with Barton. He wins this one down. Coming out is Lockie Middle and he kicks, but that's going to be out of bounds on the full. It's right on the 50-metre arc, hitting the boundary line.
Working hard here, Bellpost Hill. Got a bit of play. Need to make the most of these little opportunities that they're getting.
Nick Costello has the ball. It's probably too far out for him to score. He'll be looking for the cleverest place to put it, whether that's on someone's chest, which he's gone for, but intercepting is Callum Hetherington. He read that very well, and he's taken a mark. Gets it across to Bowden. He kicks down the line to Fulton, and he takes a very strong mark, unopposed. Plays on quickly, kicking down the line even further. McNamara for Bellpost Hill. Hits his fingertips, can't quite hold the ball. Over the boundary line again.
Need a rotating van. A little swivel.
Yeah. It's a big ground to cover. And the van doesn't suit all of the commentators, but we're doing the best we can. Hope you're enjoying the coverage if you're listening on YouTube or listening on 94.7 The Pulse. Tim Barton drags Cole out of the way, but Billy Ritchie picks up the crumb, kicks down the line looking for Fulton, and he has come out and taken a very, very strong mark. We know that he can kick beyond 50 metres. The first goal had to have travelled 60.
Billy Ritchie's the most effective player on the ground at the moment. He's just getting out of the front of stoppages and being very damaging by foot.
And that's what they needed him to do last week. So good on the kid for putting that game behind him.
So Kieran Fulton now. Be about 50 metres out. He's run around on the arc, and the ball went exactly where he ran, far to the right. A pack of players go up. There's a quick kick at goal by Hetherington, through for 1 point only. So Bannockburn go to 4-3-26. Bellpost Hill stuck on their quarter time score of 1-2-8. We're 7.5 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter.
Bashley now with the ball at the fullback, and he will clubber him side. Long kick outside 50. Yates up and down. Couldn't take the mark at ground level. Kicked along the ground there by McNamara. Only as far as Bath. Handballs over the top. Went back towards Battaglia. Runs the ball back towards the boundary line. Fantella sleeps on it, but he's taken the ball over. We're going to have another throw in, which will take place.
And I'll have to tell you, we got a big thank you from Johnny Valenti yesterday, giving his
mum
mother
a message.
Connie. He said to me, thanks to you, Grubby, and to Murray Fanning. He thought you were Murray Fanning. And g'day, Connie, if you're listening.
Ball thrown back in, this time Cole, front position. Ball comes down. Middleton taps it away. Goes after it. Tried to pick the ball up. Yates is not there. It was James has got the handball away. Put his teammate under a bit of pressure, and then put his teammate in Jones under a bit of pressure as well. Umpire sees the ball back over the boundary line, and we're going to have another throw in, which will take place.
They've come to play, the Tigers. Don't you worry about that.
So front position now again. Ball comes back towards the boundary line. Lock Battaglia onto it. Get a little kick round the body. Only as far as Broman. Smart over the top to Robinson. Robinson on the boundary line. Goes further afield. Out the back. Peters was there, but McNamara read that nicely. Took a good mark. Will transfer play. Was looking to go to Bashley, but decided that's not the option at the moment. Has a short one in staggered. Now goes back down the line. Mark will be taken uncontested there by Dill Whitney. So Whitney now swings and goes back inside towards Page. Bath from behind, but no. Page, good hands. Again, wanting to move the ball quickly. Comes outside. Ettridge has got out the back, and he won't drop. Well, I was going to say he won't drop it, but he just did. Picked up by Ladgrove as the ball is run back over the boundary line. And we were going to have another throw, which will take place.
Bucky, how good was that kick then? To hit his chest in amongst that. Incredible.
Yeah, it was a great kick. Now, we're talking about a stalemate at the moment, guys.
It is very much so.
So ball to be thrown back in now. Umpire again. Cole, front position, usually comes back towards the boundary line. This time out the back towards Richie. Jones swooped on the ball, couldn't pick it up. Was good work there. Richie just kept the ball going forward. Picked up by Whitney. Unfortunately, straight into the hands of his opposition. Richie doesn't know where he wants to go. Goes back inside to Battaglia. He drops the ball. Picked up, got through the contest. Oh, gee, I don't know what that was either.
He ducked in. Richie
so
again.
He's got the ball back. Battaglia goes to Richie. Little short kick into Fulton. Uncontested mark inside the centre square. Running player. He goes short up over the top. Osborne comes at him and he takes the marks down. He's outside his 50 and outside range. Needs to get the next option. Goes towards the pocket. Out there, the ball not marked. Yes, it is. It is taken. And I think it might be Hetherington once again, I reckon.
He's been impressive, but I'll tell you what, there's certain players when you're on the bench, Dale, that you look at from the opposition and go, we need to put a little bit of work into that guy, and that's Billy Ritchie right now. He's just doing what he likes. He's a beautiful user by foot, and he's working really hard.
Would have played a few games at this ground too. So Hetherington now is kicking from the pocket. The distance won't be any problem whatsoever. Chips at the ball. Umpire stands, looks straight back over his head. He's got his first of the afternoon. And the fifth for Bannockburn. They move to 5-3. They lead Belpost Hill on 1-2. 11 minutes gone. Buckley's Entertainment Centre, second quarter scoreboard.
Whereas they did a lot of things wrong last week, they're not doing anything wrong. They're doing everything right today. And a minute ago when you said it's a bit of a stalemate, at that stage 4-1, with Belpost having a gentle breeze, that suits.
Oh, they would have taken that.
Yeah.
They would have taken that. And they've used the corridor really well today as well, Bannockburn. They've come inboard. And that's really opened up. It's a really, really dangerous sort of way to go forward if you're a defender and your midfielders streaming forward through the middle of the ground.
Yeah.
So Ben Cole and Barton stare off. Cole's got it again. Robinson taps it back, and Ritchie. Another clearance that kicks it out to the half-forward flank. Broman grabs it, hand passes to Hetherington, and he gets it back. He has a clever little kick across the body to get it further down the ground, but it runs away from Tristan Battaglia over the boundary line for another throw-in. About 40 metres round from Bannockburn's goal. Scoreboard showing 33-8, and we're 12 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter. Barton this time lays it neatly down in front of the pack. His team trying to pounce on the ball, but it's Bannockburn in there. Clever little hand pass out the back, releases Jai Robinson, having trouble picking it up. He's got it now. Kicks it back into the hot spot, looking for Fulton. Fulton takes a very strong mark indeed, under a fair bit of pressure. One hand up initially, just dropped it down in front of himself and gathered the second crumb on his chest, and he'll go back and have a shot for his third goal, probably only 35 metres from where he'll kick, directly in front, and this will be a really, really difficult task for Belpost Hill if he can kick this. So Fulton, very deliberately, go back and drop punt this. All his team eagerly waiting. Goes back, it leaves the boot beautifully. The goal umpire moves a little to the right, but not enough to make it anything other than a goal. The sixth of the afternoon for Bannockburn. They're now 5 goals, 30 points in front of Belpost Hill on the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter scoreboard.
Grubby, we got the bird's eye view of the Belpost Hill players coming off the ground to their bench, and they're flat. They're flat. They look dejected. They need a spark. I'm not quite sure where that spark's going to come from.
That player that's going to come from just went off the ground, but Bannockburn went through the cod. A lot of sides don't go through the cod here, but I think it's a must at times.
They've got Ford in the ruck.
Yeah, so that's not a bad option, though.
No,
Get him on the ball, get him a touch.
That's good.
So the ball now from Whitney goes out to Flacavento. Flacavento back to Yates. Yates looks up. He decides to go long into their forward line. Ball gets out the back. Who's going to run onto it? It's Harmer. He runs onto it. Got boot to ball, but unfortunately the accuracy is not there, and ball will be out of bounds on the full. And free kick will go to Clifton. He decides to go quickly across the face of goal. Mark will be taken out there. Robinson, not much further afield at this stage, so he's going to have to wait till they make their move. Short kick is there now. Good work, Ettridge. So this is Ettridge of Bannockburn with the ball, still in their defensive 50. Goes out wide, looking for Broman. Ball gets through the contest. Cole was going to be the first to arrive, and the ball has gone over the boundary line. Will be thrown back in on centre wing, far side of the ground.
Geez, I hope there's no punch on between the Ettridge brothers. Mark will have to come down and sort it out. Or Uncle Ray.
So we'll be thrown back in now. Umpire again. Will Ford. Now there's a free kick being given. And it's going to go to Will Ford. So that's all right. That's worked okay. He's got his hands on the ball. Looks to go for a short kick in towards Mann. Mann doesn't take the mark. Picks up there. Bath put his head over it. Couldn't pick it up cleanly. Runs free now. Picked up. Page had it. Lost it. Umpire said incorrect disposal. And Jai Robinson will win a free kick. Hands off to Clifton. As we said, a good use of the football. And that's no exception there. Straight to Battaglia. He looks back inside. Osborne also been okay today. Leads up. Takes the mark. Handball out the back. Goes back to Clifton once again. And around the boundary line they travel. Goes up. This time Fulton.
Oh, jeez, that's dangerous. Oh, I think it was an accident.
Yeah, there was nothing in it. There was
in it, but
head down there, and he was right beside him. He couldn't avoid him in any way, shape, or form.
I hope he's okay, the big fella. They're just moving the ball really well at the moment. Their work rate is excellent. Bannockburn, they're running on top of the ground. This bloke's a real handful.
So Fulton it is. He's well out of his ground at the moment. He might consider staying back now after that. Ball goes into the forward pocket. Not too sure what he's looking for, but McNamara's up over the top. Ball comes to ground. Battaglia's there. Can't pick the ball up. Picked up. Work there from Sable. Goes back around the boundary line. Back towards Robinson. He's going to be the first there, but the ball will go over the boundary line, which will be okay for the Bellpost Hill side. They'll get numbers around the contest and try and set up and take the ball from this throw-in.
I noticed he had a bit of a longer rest that time, Jamesy.
Yes.
So it must change as you get through the game.
So the ball is thrown back in. This time, ball comes out the back. And the ruckman got a hand on it. It's going to be on hands and knees. Picked up by Jervis. Fed it back through the contest. Yates picks it up. He's tackled. Brought to ground. And again, without prior opportunity, we'll have another throw-in or throw a ball up to take place. On centre wing. So Will Ford still doing some ruck work. Over the top is Cole. From the contest, Robinson had it. Couldn't get out of the contest. And again, players right round it now, and again, the umpire is going to come in. So it's 6-3-39. Bannockburn, they lead Bellpost Hill on 1-2. We've gone 17 minutes. Buckley's Entertainment Centre, second quarter scoreboard.
Someone in the hands of the trainers for Bellpost Hill.
That's Sable. So the ball comes from the contest to Robinson. Robinson hand passes quickly to Lincoln Peter. Sorry, his kick going forward has been marked by McNamara, though. He kicks across the face of goal to Staggard. Almost in the goal square, kicks out to Bashley, who's made space, as he always does, half-back flank. He's going for Kerins, punched away by Clifton. Fantella picks up the crumb, hand passes it back to Kerins. Kerins to Whitney, hand passes to Fantella. Scrubby old left foot kick, wobbles into centre half forward. Cole comes out for Bannockburn. Hand passes to no one in particular. Barton gets it and hand passes cleverly to Kerins. He kicks forward. It's bouncing over the back of the pack. Someone looking to get into the good position here. Bowden does a very good job for Bannockburn and hand passes it through for one behind. That was Luke Bowden, the taller of the brothers. He's gone for safety option. Immediately picks up the ball, kicks down the line. BJ Harding just off the bench. Sprinted hard down into the pocket to make position. Takes the mark and kicks it to his teammate in Ettridge. Short pass for Ettridge, was looking for Spiller, and right in the middle of three Bannockburn players is Matt James, who marks. Tries to bounce and run away. The umpires caught him.
Willie wasn't going to let him go either.
And young Willie Middleton, who loves a challenge, this young fella. He's like a terrier. He kicks down the line looking for Fulton, and Fulton is going to mark right in front of us. Heath Buck could have reached out and punched that out of his hands. He's that close. So Fulton now kicks down the line looking for Broman or Cole, and Cole comes over the back. That's Josh Cole, and takes a really strong mark. Hand passes immediately to Tristan Battaglia. He kicks into the forward pocket.
Well, he's got his brother on too.
Harding kicks across the centre half forward. That was looking for Lockie Battaglia, and he is marked. True centre half forward. He'll be about 40 metres out directly in front.
I can see that from here.
All a little bit too easy, that one.
It is.
That was uncontested mark right down. And they need to somehow get their way back into this game, or this is going to be a blowout.
So Battaglia runs around now, gets the play on call, kicks long, but again going for that extra distance. He has got the distance easily, but sprayed it to the left, and that was a wasted opportunity. 6-4-40 Bannockburn, Bellpost Hill 139. 19.5 minutes into Buckley's entertainment second quarter. Caleb Baseley with the ball, as he always does, after a kick out into the pocket, and finds Josh Andrews. Done a pretty good job so far.
He's probably the only winner at the moment for Bellpost Hill.
So Andrews kicks down the line, looking for his captain, Jack Page. He hand passes it to Jones. The ball stays in play. Fulton picks it up, releases Lockie Middleton, who neat little pass into Ettridge. It's bounced under his arms. It can't get away, but he hand passes back to Middleton, who followed up. He fires it out to his brother Will. He's first there. Tries to evade a tackle of Will Ford. Kicks it very quickly. Ricochets back to Lockie Middleton. Coming through now is Whitney. Very calmly picks it up, and that lovely drop punt of his, looking for Jaden Ettridge, and hits him right on the chest while Hayden Spiller was sprawling around. Ettridge quickly plays on now, kicking the pocket, looking for his little buddy in Costello over the back of the pack. Kerins is first there. Quick little snap into goal, but Connor Jervies is there on the last line of defence. Hand passes to Clifton. Clifton gets away from Vasika, kicks down the line and finds Josh Cole. Plenty of time, plenty of room. He takes it's a second touch on the ground. Drop punt down the line looking for Broman. Punched away from him by Andrews, who's again done such a great job on him.
Really poor forward play by the two Bellpost Hill forwards there. They're running, trying to run back into space. We never one of them in the lead up to the ball carrier.
Well, I don't think the kick helped them much either. He should have gone wider.
They needed one, though. They needed one of those guys to lead up.
Yeah.
So,
that's where forward taken out. That's where that one comes from, isn't it?
Yep.
Fulton beats Barton in the ruck. Barton gets a rebound. The umpire's blown the whistle, found a free kick. He's called that a throw. Yep. Tim Barton was tackled just as he tried to hand pass, and it was more of a left-hand flick than a right-hand punch. The umpire's picked up on that. And it's Richie for Bannockburn, who's had a big second quarter on top of a pretty handy first quarter. He's got the ball now on the centre wing, kicks into the pocket looking for Broman. He's got a little bit of space, but that's a bit soft. He's got a bit of space on Andrews.
That was more than some of the ones that
I'm chucking these out because
he got hit on the elbow and has been given a free kick. He's kick into the forward pocket, almost in the arms of Harding, but punched away at the last minute by Staggard for Bellpost Hill. A teammate picks up, kicks long down the line.
Good kick.
Waiting over the back of the pack to take the mark. On his chest is Barton. A quick, long, low drop punt from him, looking for Costello. The ball lands on its head. Favours Bannockburn's Lewis Clifton. He kicks it across his body, looking for a teammate, and he's found that in Lockie Battaglia. Centre wing for Bannockburn. Kicks into the middle of the ground, and that's a very, very nice pass indeed. Finds Bowden. Hand passes quickly to the running Hetherington. A lovely weighted little pass, but weighted a little too heavily for Kieran Fulton. And Bo McNamara just leans back and takes a mark behind Fulton. At centre half back for Bellpost Hill. Trying to mount something here, but they just don't have the usual space that they have forward, so he's had to go backwards to Staggard. He kicks down the line, and Zane Jones takes a mark.
Every outlet's cut off by Bannockburn. Yeah. Every outlet. It's been terrific defensively.
Jones goes into James. They certainly are lacking the space that they normally have today. So James goes for that long drop punt again. He'd be looking for Jack Yates. Richie does a good job to punch. The umpire said play on as Yates thought he'd taken the mark.
So did
Richie tries to get the crumb. Fantella takes it away. Kerins has grabbed immediately.
Great tackle. Great tackle.
By Bowden. That's Luke Bowden, and he has taken a free kick for Bannockburn. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Poorly directed though. And Benny Muir sets up in front of Peters and takes a mark. Inside the centre square, Bellpost Hill trying to mount something. A little kick. Ettridge has made space again. Man on the mark right on the 50. Ettridge kicks into the pocket looking for Costello. Takes a very good mark. He'll be about 20 metres out, 45-degree angle. Desperate chance for Bellpost Hill to get their second goal on the board.
Yeah, your big man lays a great tackle and then turns it over in the middle of the ground, the most dangerous place to turn it over. And this could be a really, really handy goal just before half-time.
Yeah, that's provided he kicks it.
He will.
It's a bit tighter than 45 degrees when the man on the mark is set up. So whether he goes for the traditional dead-eye drop punt or tries to do a little banana-na-na-na, the wind will favour him if he tries that. So it's Nick Costello. He's known for kicking goals when he's needed to kick one, and he's done it again. His team's second goal for the afternoon, 2-3-15. Bannockburn 6-4-40, 25 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter.
Well, you're right, Heath. It was a turnover that provided that. Without that turnover, they're still struggling.
Yeah, and it was one of those ones where it's late in the quarter and he probably should have gone down the line just to be a little bit safer. They've had all the momentum in this quarter. It's just a dangerous spot. I think it was 2-on-1 as well. It was a good mark to man. Ettridge been a little bit busier in this second quarter. And great mark to Costello. Nice kick. Beautiful kick of the footy.
You can keep them down for a while, those two boys, but you're never going to keep them down all day.
So we're back in the middle now. Hetherington doing the ruck work. Will Ford's up early. Ball comes down to ground. Picked up out there. Middleton tries to get the ball out to Battaglia. Did so. Got boots the ball. Kicks back into the half-forward line. Broman leads in the race. Gets out the back. Osborne's the first to arrive. Looks to get the handball out. Missed the target. Picked up out there into the hands of Fantella. He goes back into the middle. Jones running player outside. Ford. Ford looking to go long into the forward line. Out the back. Ettridge didn't take the mark. Costello's another opportunity. Can he take it? No, he can't. Picked up out there. Bowden got the handball away. Only went as far as Ettridge. Went back, collected it, got out of the contest. Not sure the handball wasn't that great, but umpire said that was okay. He was standing this side, and Bannockburn tie things up. And we'll have a ball up to take place inside their forward 50. Another late opportunity for them. Quarter couldn't run too much further, you wouldn't think.
Why wasn't Bannockburn this desperate last Saturday?
So I'm not too sure. Maybe just the contest or the opposition maybe a bit better, mate, on the day. Ball comes down out of that contest, picked up out of there, Sable. He's tackled, also brought to ground. Umpire circles and says, let's have it back once again.
Yeah, I don't know, Smithy. It doesn't matter with the opposition. Your desperation and that, which wasn't there last week, that should be against any opposition.
Yep, so Bruckman go at it again. This time Hethering's up and down. At the ground level, he takes the ball, picks up there. Middleton got the boot to ball. Comes out towards Andrews. Hold, says the umpire.
Well played.
And it's going to go back. Andrews will win possession of the ball. Looks to go quickly in towards Barton. He's there, takes the mark. So Barton now... Gee, I'll tell you what, a couple of years back he would have run this right through the goals. But he's going to load up. He's going to go long. Costello's out the back. Oh, he read that nicely. Oh, he actually dropped it, did he? No, he didn't. He took it.
Wow.
I thought he had.
So did I. I thought he was going after it.
Yes.
So Nick Costello now to kick his second goal of the quarter. And we'll give Bellpost Hill their third. Round the body he goes, and that is straight through the middle. So Nick Costello has 2, and Bellpost Hill have got 3. They are 3-3. They trail Bannockburn on 6-4, and we have gone 27 minutes, second quarter.
The most dangerous part of that is you haven't seen Cosy do much at all, and all of a sudden, bang, bang, and that gets his confidence up. He is a dead-set confidence player.
Yeah, it's just funny, though. Normally, if he kicks a really key goal, he's up and about and dancing around like a peacock. They were very low-key there. It's unusual body language for them, because that's a vital goal.
Well, they're waiting for his next one, Rob.
Oh, right.
He's going to kick another one in a minute.
I see.
And they're waiting for that one.
And I think the good thing here is that Will Ford's starting to get his hands on the footy in the middle of the ground as well.
It'll help. Cole gets it down, but Ford picks up the crumb but can't get away as the ball bounces back over his head, but he's in there laying a tackle. So he's trying to get himself back in the game, which is very important. He's not just going in there for a bit of a rest. He's very desperate, and he's up again against Cole.
Beautiful
wins it,
tap
gets
out,
it down to James. James feigns a hand pass again, gets it back to Whitney. Whitney's pass out to Kerins. He's going to get there first, but it's right on the half-time siren. Bannockburn 6-4-40. Bellpost Hill a 3-3-21. That was the end of the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter. Goal kickers, and we'll go back to the station.
Yep, goal kickers to half-time. Kieran Fulton has 3, 1 each to Harding, Osborne and Hetherington, and for Bellpost Hill, 2 to Nick Costello late in that second quarter, and Jaden Ettridge is with the other. Take a short break, come back. We'll go through everything that's happened in the first half and look forward to a big second half here. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
Geelong's largest spa showroom, Leisurescape Spas and Landscaping, is now
And locking horns with one of his opponents, Heath Buck, and it's good to see you guys, have those incredible rivalries, Bucky, but many years later, you're all good mates, great respect and admiration. It's good.
Yeah, he used to wear the number 69 nappies.
That sounds like something he'd do.
It was a heavy number to carry around, but God, he could play. Oh, absolute superstar.
Yeah.
One of the best I've seen.
Light in his feet, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, just beautiful balance. Busy, just a really busy player. But this one, I just feel as much as Belpost got it back into the game late in that second quarter, I just feel that Bannockburn are going to flex their muscles here. I really do. They look flat. Belpost look flat. They don't look like they're on top of their toes. But that might be just them. They're sort of cool sort of customers, Belpost still. Maybe they don't show a lot of emotion, but I just get the feeling in this game. They've still got Ford in the ruck. I don't know whether that's going to be sustainable. It worked for a period of time there in the second quarter, but I think they need him forward to win this game.
And interestingly, that wind is really hitting us hard in the face here, which means it's across the ground, so there's probably no real advantage maybe to the Torquay end, if any.
I know it's probably stating the obvious, but the first goal here, Dale, for either team is going to probably paint a tail for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
I think Bannockburn can get it pretty easily.
Yep.
It's going to be very difficult for Belpost still to get back into this game. Vice versa, it may give Belpost still some confidence.
Just a little spark that they may require as the siren stands to start the second half, and the ball is in the air. Ford goes at it, the ball comes over the top. Whitney and also Middleton go at it. Ball comes back into the hands of Whitney, got out the other side into the hands now. Ettridge, he kicks the ball forward. That's going to be one down the field, and I don't think they needed that to start the second half. And it'll be Jai Robinson just inside 50. So Jai Robinson now has a lead on, goes into Fulton, and again with delivery like that, that's not going to stop too much. So within 25 seconds, Bucky, we could have the answer pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it was against Will Ford. It wasn't a hell of a lot in it. It was a fraction late, and didn't the Bannockburn players let him know too? They were straight over to him, and that's one that dents your confidence straight away.
It's hard enough when you're 6'4" and a monster, but when you get fed like that, makes it impossible.
And that's where the advantage of this new stand rule is an advantage. You don't have to even kick over the man of the mark anymore. It's just a low, flat kick. So Fulton steps in, kicks that goal, guides that right through the middle. So he's got the perfect start for Bannockburn in the third quarter. They are 7-4. Belpost still remain 3-3. We've gone just over 1 minute to Granny Stockton Sports third quarter scoreboard.
Yeah, didn't want that. Belpost still didn't want that. It was I wouldn't call it an overly undisciplined act by Ford, but he was a fraction late, and beautiful kick inside forward 50, plenty of space for Fulton, and he's just a dead-eye dick in front of the goals. He's having a day out, but I wouldn't say McNamara's been terrible. He's taken a couple of nice grapes down there, but he's a big man to try and match up on.
Well, congratulations, Belpost, to a magnificent lunch.
So the ball back in the middle of the ground again. This time it's going to be coming through the middle of Ettridge again. Goes back into the forward line. Basely from behind. Doesn't take the mark. Tries to sneak out. The back was taken a little bit high. And it will be a free kick to Caleb Basely. So Basely now has got possession of the ball. Bannockburn have manned them up pretty well. Ford's the only one that he can go to, although he's got one out wide and he'll use that now. And the mark taken out there, I reckon that may be Quinn. He's going to come back to Basely. So a little bit of possession football. They're back inside 50 now. Looking to go to Ford, but goes short to Staggard. He goes short, has Ford. Well, he didn't actually take the mark. Got the runner outside, but a little bit of pressure now. The kick had to be good to Flacavento. Wasn't. They both left it there. Picked up by Fulton through the contest. Ritchie back over the top to Middleton. Needs to put boot to ball. Did so quickly. How will the bounce favour? Goes back towards Staggard. Picked up. Handball comes out the park. Harding will run into goal. And that's another one on the board for Bannockburn. They move now to 8 goals for 3-3 Belpost Hill. And a little bit of danger signs starting to creep in already early in this third quarter.
Yeah, there's danger signs already. And I know it's easy because BJ's kicked 2 of those nice, easy running goals. But you've got to know where to stand and you've got to know where to run to get them.
They tried the possession type sort of game style, which they're known for, Rob, Belpost still, but it came unstuck. And just a little chip kick to Ford. He fumbled and they were immediately under pressure and they swooped. Terrific play once again by Bannockburn.
That was it. If Ford marks that ball, they continue their game. But no.
Back in the middle, Ford and Cole. And Ford is desperately trying to get some confidence. He had a couple of errors early in this third quarter. Both have resulted in goals. He's been put in there to lift his confidence as much as anything. But
it's it's a classic Band-Aid putting Ford in there, and he might get a little bit of ball on the outside, but they're getting smashed in the ruck. Absolutely smashed.
Ball drops to the feet of both ruckmen. Neither of them touched it. Bellpost Hill getting a crumb out through Whitney. So Whitney's now got space out on the wing. He's running free, takes a bounce, and his long left footer into the forward pocket, but it's going to land straight.
So that's where Ford's missing now.
Ladgrove for Bannockburn. He's taken a mark in the back pocket. It's most unlike Dylan Whitney, that kick. So Ladgrove comes down the line looking for Cole. He's up against Barton, but that is a magnificent mark at the back of the pack by Josh Andrews, who's probably close to Bellpost Hill best player today. Kicks it into a hot spot. Coming out is Bowden, gets it to Jervis. He kicks down on the wing to Lachlan Battaglia. He picks up one-handed, has a second crack at it and kicks down the line looking for Hetherington. Punched away from him. Nest of Bellpost Hill players have it. Flacavento is the first to get there, kicks down the line. No one can take the mark. Ball over the back of the pack. Players desperately getting onto it. Spiller over the back to Robinson. Robinson to Clifton. Clifton kicks down the line. Battaglia muscles his way to the front of the pack. Broman comes through hard. Hand passes back to Battaglia. He kicks it off the ground. It heads forward. The umpire signals that will be out of bounds. And we'll have a throw in just on Bannockburn's side of the centre. Far side of the ground. Flags on their far side definitely picking up and blowing slightly to the advantage that Bannockburn end of Bannockburn are kicking.
And against the flow. Otherwise, and I don't see how they're going to get it the way the ball's going in.
So Hetherington and Ford. Ford wins it down. Coming through, trying to get through is James. He's picked up the ball. He's dropped the ball and he will be penalised for doing that. He doesn't look happy.
At 50, but he's mouthed off, I think.
Yes,
I think he kicked the ball away, didn't he?
Well, I thought that was pretty quickly. I think he's mouthed off after it. He couldn't give 50 for the kick away, I don't think.
There didn't appear to be anything wrong with the decision. He picked it up, he got tackled and he dropped it. That's pretty much what happened.
He's been impressive, this kid. I don't know much about him. He's been a really hard-working centre forward. He's going to come up for number 2.
Was he stiff not to be playing last week?
Yeah, I think he'd been out. He hadn't played a lot of footy. He'd been out for a little while, so I think he's just made his way back in.
So Hetherington now, 30 metres out. He kicks it straight over Kieran Fulton's head, who's standing in front of the goal umpire. He's the one he needed to impress. And he has their 9th for the afternoon, 9-4, Bellpost Hill 3-4. We are in the De Grande Sport and Cycle third quarter.
I was hoping the Panthers would kick a couple against it early and give us a really tight, exciting game, but the way Bannockburn are going here, they're going to be so far in front of three-quarter time that you'd need a cyclone to kick in the last quarter to win.
So Ford remains in the ruck. Josh Cole for Ben Cole, is his opponent. Ben Cole gets it round, and it's Matt James who was a part of that indiscretion. He hand passes out wide to Vasika. Low drop punt from him. Touches the hands of Page, but Spiller picks up the crumbs. Kicks long into the forward line for Bannockburn. Players coming out. Hetherington can't hold the mark. Comes over the back of the pack. Players desperately trying to get it. First one in Hetherington, but Will Ford kicks it off the ground with his left foot down towards Jaden Ettridge. Coming back is Cole. He picks it up. A neat little pass is intercepted by Ettridge, but it gets to Lachlan Battaglia. He gets it inside to Bowden. Taken off him by Sable. Hand passes to Barton. Barton inside to James. He tries to evade a tackle. That's a funny sort of a handball, but it's been deemed to be okay. Jones can't get it for Bellpost Hill. Barton gets in. He's tackled to the ground. We'll have a ball up right in front of the interchange gates, about 10 metres in from the boundary line. So Barton looks like he's a single ruckman. No one wants to go up against him, so he grabs it out of the ruck, kicks it forward, goes over the back of the pack. Joel Page runs onto it. He wobbles it forward towards Kerins. He picks it up now, tackled immediately. Desperate defence from Bannockburn. And again through Ladgrove they come away. But Will Ford is going to take a chest mark about 60 metres out. And he'll drive Bellpost Hill back into attack. He's looking for options. Players leading. But Ford's just going to the hot spot. It's a wobbly, horrible kick. Lands with Bowden. He can't hold the mark. Ettridge grabs it. But it comes over the back of the pack to Bannockburn, and they run it through for a behind. The safe option, that's 3-4-22 now. Bannockburn are 9-4-58. That's 8 minutes gone into De Grande Sport and Cycle third quarter.
So the ball into the hands now of Locke Battaglia. And he's going to go back across the ground. Player outside. Jervis in some space by himself. Got some running options over the top. Ladgrove's the first. He goes in that direction now. So they just make a little space around the boundary line. Playing a bit Bell Post Hill style football here. A bit of control. Now in the hands of Richie. He looks up. Broman presents at him. Good spoil again from Andrews. Ball hits the ground. Broman runs towards it. It's picked up. Sable it is. Puts his head over it. Looking for some options out the back. Has James. Went one way, then went back the other. Able to get away from Broman. Runs through. Kicks into the half-forward line. That's a good kick. Basely in space by himself. Call the play on now by the umpire. Kick going into the forward line to Costello. Wasn't that great. Ball gets through the contest. Going back. Ball's picked up by Spiller. Handball's outside. Clifton. Little look inside. And that will be okay. The mark will be taken there by Ladgrove. So they settle things down once again. Ladgrove will go across the ground into space by himself as Robinson can run and carry the ball now. Takes a bounce. Takes his second, still inside 50. Looking at his third, but decides to go long and quick outside. That's a great kick, and Ettridge has made some good space further down the field on centre wing. Back in the middle, the ball's going to come. Goes back inside, looking towards Battaglia. First one to arrive there. Well trapped there. Like a Vento. Got the handball away. A little bit of pressure arrives now. Ball picked up. Got the handball out. Umpire says high. And it's going to Osborne, is it? It's going to Bannockburn. So Osborne's the recipient of the free kick. He decides now to go long and quick into the forward line. Set BJ a bit of a task. Ball out the back. Got the hands. Just needs to free him. Got the Hetherington. Tried to put it over the top. Ball there. Staggard went to Flacavento. He got the ball outside. So they run the ball now. Get outside to Basely. Outside 50. He's looking at the next option. Back inside in the middle. And it goes towards Yates. Doesn't let him down. Takes the mark. Jones wide, again, kick back inside. Okay, Quinn's pushed up from behind. Options further across the ground now. Went backwards, missed his target. Plenty of time though and space there. James will be able to go back and collect. Looks to run the ball now and go long into the half-forward line. Over the top, out the back. Barton is there, ball there with Osborne. He will see it over the boundary line, and I think he'll be happy enough to see it in that position. And we'll have a throw-in to take place.
Bucky, at what point do Bell Post still say, we're going to take the risk and go down the corridor?
Oh, I think it right here, right now. And at what point do you probably get one of your quickest players in the Blakes in the best form, and that's young Andrews, up onto the ball or on a wing. So
Ettridge from the contest goes outside to Robinson. Robinson around the boundary line. Didn't quite hit the target. Picked up there. Comes back inside to James by hand. He again, look, a little chip up over the top. That will be okay. Ground is made, and it was Joel Page diving for the ball.
He's doing a wonderful job on Broman. Absolutely wonderful. But they're only saving at the moment. They've got to win the game.
So the ball gets out the back now. Jervis has taken in a tackle. And it was high, obviously, says the umpire, because he's got his hand back that way. So Connor Jervis with the free kick deep in the back pocket. He's going to go straight back down the line now and go back towards centre wing. Ball out the back. He actually picked up there. I got the hand there. Was Fulton. Got the handball away. Went to his teammate. Handball comes back inside to Middleton. Middleton put the ball back out to Osborne. Little boot forward. May work okay. And Link Peters was in front and he takes the mark. So Peters now to settle things down. Bannockburn with some options further up the field. He's going to go long, wide, out towards Broman once again. Andrews is right with him. Again, Broman protects the space, kicks it off the ground, but sitting back in the hole is McNamara. So McNamara can transfer across the ground, but he goes straight down the line. Okay, finds Muir. So Muir, a little possession, goes out wide, back to James. He goes up over the top, short to Andrews. And again, this is what they can do. They'll just wait for someone to fall off, and then they may ricochet through. But the ball again inside to Harmer. So he takes the mark. Running player back outside is James. James looks up, half forward. Nice kick again. Goes into Whitney. Whitney quickly onto the boot. Goes looking towards forward. Kick wasn't quite a Whitney finish. Goes into the hands there, and it's picked up. Handball comes out the back, goes over the top to Battaglia. Needs to put boot to ball and does so. Comes outside to Harding. Flacavento right with him. Hits the ground. BJ does nicely. Gets the ball towards the boundary line. Picked up by Battaglia. Ball goes over the boundary line, and we are going to have a throw in. So we've gone almost 13 minutes in this third quarter. It is 9-4 Bannockburn, 3-4 Bell Post Hill.
Just starting to get a little bit of overlap run at the moment, Belpost Hill, just providing a little bit more space in their front half. Just need to use it a little bit better.
And have to score. Have to score.
Barton takes it out of the ruck again, hand passes quickly to Jones. He gets it on the boot, goes forward, and Luke Mann comes out and takes a mark on his chest. He reels around quickly, low drop punt in. He'll be looking for forward, punched away from him, but picking up the crumb is Dylan Whitney. He overruns it. Bannockburn come through. Battaglia hand passes back, but Fantella intercepts that, causes the ball to pull up. James picks up the ball as it wobbles out of the pack. He can't control. He's in there trying to have another go. He's still got it. That is a fantastic effort for determination. He runs around, gets away from his opponent, kicks into the hot spot, punched away by Jervis. Jervis back to Peters. Peters' tap on is intercepted by Andrews. He hand passes to Harmer. Harmer's long, low drop punt over the back of the pack to Ford, and the key forward has finally taken a mark and will have a set shot for goal for the first time today.
Outstanding by Matt James.
Yep.
Just perseverance, and then the kick inboard. Once again, Josh Andrews. Just been a terrific player all day for Belpost Hill, was involved in that link-up, and finally Ford gets some space with a quick kick inside forward 50. He needs to kick this.
Directly in front, only 15 to 20 metres out. And I'm sure he'll need it for both his confidence, but more so for his team's chances. They need a couple in a hurry now by three-quarter time. It's left the boot. He's very happy. His teammates are happy. It is their fourth for the afternoon, 4-4-28. Bannockburn 9-4-58, 14 minutes and 40 seconds into the De Grande Sport and Cycle third quarter.
Matter of inches in it. Like Link Peters, the idea was there, tap it onto his mate, and he just didn't get enough of it, and it was intercepted. And again, Belpost Hill will hurt you if you make a mistake like that.
And they have lifted.
Yeah.
They sensed the game was probably really getting away from them, but their intensity in the last 5 to 10 minutes has been terrific.
Spiller forward, Broman back.
Yep.
So Barton gets the tap out, goes out towards centre wing. Bannockburn first in there through Middleton. He can't get the ball, but comes out the back to his brother Lockie, but it's taken out of his hands, and Zane Jones tries to pick it up. He's doing a very good job belting it forward. Middleton follows up, and it is Will Middleton this time who picks up the good work of his brother, but a poor kick finds Benny Muir from Belpost Hill in the middle of the ground. He looks up, and Sable has made position only 15 metres. Muir runs on, but Jones beyond him has taken the mark.
Bloody!
So Jones now low kick into the forward line, but coming out is Cole. He's taken a chest mark or a push in the back. He will take a free kick, intercepting that pass, and another Belpost Hill forward thrust has been cut off. Ball kicks down the line, punched away from Spiller, and goes over the boundary line at the interchange gates, right on centre wing. Belpost Hill 30 points in arrears, 16 minutes into the De Grande Sport and Cycle third quarter, and Tim Barton, who's really started to have some influence as a ruckman. He's in a fair bit of pain with a crook knee, but still working very, very hard. It's Cole this time that gets it down, but Sable is tackled immediately by one arm, literally throws it out, but the umpires reckon that's okay these days. Comes out to Dylan Whitney. He's pushed over the boundary line. We'll have another throw in. Still just beyond centre wing. Bannockburn slightly in attack. We've got Cole and Barton again in the ruck. Barton wins it down towards Sable. He can't get through. Lockie Middleton does a very good job to get it to his brother. Kicks down the line over the back of a desperate Quinn. And ball goes out of bounds.
On the full.
On the full off the Kieran Fulton's foot. And it'll be Beau McNamara to take the kick. For Belpost Hill, he's got Barton short and takes him on. Barton will be looking for another shorter option. A couple of his teammates making position, but Bannockburn defenders working very hard to cover off all avenues. Forced to kick long down the line. Page in the front of the pack, punched away by Josh Cole. Coming onto the ball now is Jones. Jones stumbles just as he kicks. It goes
that was so short.
Meters, lands to Yates. Yates to Costello. He's tackled before he can kick the ball by Middleton, and Middleton has won himself a free kick. Quick hand pass to Robinson. That's a beautiful pass to Spiller. Can't hold the mark under a great deal of pressure. Over the back to Belpost Hill. Muir He kicks down the middle of the pack, punched away from Costello, but he's deemed to have
Got to
been
go.
infringed.
Got to go now. Got to go.
I think that was
Costello
Page, actually.
is coming off the ground injured. Ettridge has got the ball, kicks it further forward to Whitney. Whitney kicks right across the ground looking for Harmer. He's found him. He plays on, but he's tackled, and he's in serious trouble now, and he's going to be pinged for holding the ball. And Connor Jervis did a very good job there. Did everything legally. Harmer's grabbed hold of the footy too long, and he's given away 50 metres. And this brings Connor Jervis down to within kicking distance, I would think. Not quite. 60 metres out. 55 metres out, the umpire finally settles.
A couple of big tackles to the wingers, Jervis and Middleton, when the Belpo still looked like they were out.
Jervis a long kick right to the hot spot. Fulton will be his target, but Bo McNamara, as he's done many times in his wonderful career, comes across, takes an intercept mark, gets it into the pocket to Muir quickly, and Muir kicks out wide and finds Kerrins in the back pocket. Pass down the line for him, looking for and finding Jaden Ettridge, who snuck down from centre half forward, kicks in the middle of the ground and forward. Speaking of sneaking down, full forward probably playing out a bit. He's kicked further forward and found Barton. So they're starting to link together, a typical old Bell Post Hill game here. Barton kicks to more of a pack situation down the line, punched away. Jai Robinson is first there for Bannockburn to get a crumb. Hand passes further forward to a teammate inside to Lockie Middleton. He across to Ladgrove. Ladgrove short kick into the middle of the ground, but he misses his opponent there. Andrews takes it after a second bounce, gets it forward. Bannockburn can't hold the mark. Ball comes back to Harmer. Harmer to Whitney. Whitney hand passes inside to Fantella. Ugly looking pass for him across to the forward line. Bannockburn defenders
Well, I don't think he had the footy at all.
The umpires come in and said that there will be a free kick, and it'll be going to last man up off the bottom of that pack.
Jones, I reckon.
Zane Jones it is.
That's a good. They've done a pretty good job. The I can't fault them too much.
No, they've
done
been
a
excellent today.
Very, very good job.
Excellent today. They've been consistent with the tackles.
Yeah, they've done everything right, I reckon.
So Zane Jones, 45-degree angle, who kicked from about 35 metres. And his side is 30 points down. To say this is desperately needed is an understatement. So the young fella has done a pretty good job out in his wing kicks. That is a horrible...
He's passed it.
That is.
He's passed it, Jonesy. Good
well
boy.
Done, Grubby. Good call. He's picked out Quinn in the opposite forward pocket, hit him on the chest.
Whitney.
And he'll kick from exactly the same position.
Almost lace out.
Almost lace out.
Diagonally anyhow.
He's lifted in the last 10 minutes, Whitney.
So he's got himself a shot at goal, 25 metres out, 45-degree angle, right over the goal umpire's hat. It takes Belpost Hill to 5-4, Bannockburn 9-4, 21 minutes into the Grandy Sport and Cycle third quarter.
What's happened, Grub, is Bannockburn in the first half was so good at protecting that, defending really well with that outlet. Now that they're getting a little bit tired, maybe thought they had the game sewn up. It's allowed Belpost Hill to play the game on their own terms, and they're excellent at just controlling the ball from the back half, get it to about halfway, then go. But also their pressure around the ball's really picked up. Something happened. I'm not quite sure what happened, but their pressure picked up. The game looked like it was gone, then suddenly they found something.
Would rather do that or mothballs. That's what it was.
So the ball back in the middle now. The ball comes out, goes to Pataglia on the right boot. He's going to screw the ball round the body, back towards centre forward, going back. Harding's in front, can't take the mark. Quinn did nicely. Tackled from behind. Ball comes out. Umpire says that is dropping the ball. And free kick will go to Spiller. So Spiller has the ball inside there, centre 50. Little chip up over the top, going across. Quinn was there. Ball gets out the back. Coming up is Jones. Takes the ball. Good tackle there by Osborne into the hands of McNamara.
He ambled that.
Oh, gee, that was tough.
Now that was a poor one, Grub.
Look, you're going to
got that wrong.
You're going to get wrong decisions here or there. Everyone's going to make a mistake. But this could be a very costly one.
I mean, their tackling's been immense this afternoon, Bannockburn. I mean, a couple of big tackles this quarter, this one now.
So it is Osborne. He has one for the afternoon, Aidan Osborne. Broman coming past as an option, but he is a pretty good kick of a football, actually. So this will be right on testing distance, I would think. Steps in, kicks that goal. A lot of height, a lot of accuracy, and it is just offline for a minor score. So now 9-5 to Bannockburn, 5-4 to Bellpost Hill. 23 minutes gone. Third quarter.
I think the footy gods might have intervened then, Bucky.
I think so.
So Andrews it is going to do the kicking in, takes advantage, runs, carries, kicks short. That was a great kick, straight into the hands of Sable. So Sable now got an outlet player, goes short towards Ford, just gets there, but that's all it has to do. So Ford is now looking to deliver the ball. He's got options sideways, goes outside to Jones. Jones is going to go short up over the top, and that is going to be out of bounds on the full. One step going backwards. Can't kick like that too often, Grub. So Locke Middleton's going to be the recipient of the free kick. Middleton now. He delivers the ball, goes towards Spiller. Good ball from Andrews from behind, and the ball goes back over the boundary line.
How old's this Andrews? Is he a youngster?
Yep. I reckon he's come from, did someone say St Mary's?
St Mary's. Yeah.
Okay, so he's had GFL experience.
Probably only under 18.
Yeah, not sure how much senior experience he has though, Bucky. I don't know. I don't think a lot.
He's got some ability.
So the ball thrown back in, comes towards Clifton on the right boot, looks up, goes short, and Spiller comes at him, and he takes the mark and needs to go back now and kick this goal just to give Bannockburn that little bit of leeway.
You give the kid a pump up and his man gets one on the chest, but it was a great kick.
Oh, there's nothing you could have
done. A lot
of
space in front of him.
We like the boys Clifton's boot.
So Spiller has been moved forward, as we said. Broman has gone back. So he will kick from just inside 50. Loads up, goes long, and he is also offline and through for a minor score. Bannockburn now to 9-6. 5-4 Bellpost Hill and 25 gone. Randy Cycling Sports third quarter scoreboard.
So Caleb Basely waiting for the ball to come back out of the crowd, and he will do his normal thing, probably run 25 or 30 metres and hit someone on the chest. His target will probably be Will Ford out this side of the ground, making room on the half-forward flank. So Basely comes out now, kicks down, and he's looking for Ford, but Andrew comes over the back, which I reckon was probably Basely's target in the first place. Joel Page overruns that, back to Robinson. He's tackled, shrugs the tackle, hand passes out to Battaglia, left foots it back to true centre half forward. Coming across to take a very strong and safe mark is Quinn for Bellpost Hill. He's got Page short and takes him on. So Joel Page now kicks to a pack situation. Tim Barton's involved in it. Punched away by Ladgrove though to Ettridge. Ettridge dodges a couple of tackles. His kick is smothered. Completely bowls Cole out the back to Clifton. He kicks into a hot spot for Ritchie. Punched away from Flacavento. Very, very good job by Battaglia to clear some space for Peters. He gets it to Ritchie. Can't control the ball. Bellpost Hill defenders desperately trying to get it. Vasika hand passes twice. Flacavento the second time. He tries to hit a target.
Siren.
Misses. And the three-quarter time siren goes. 9-6-60 Bannockburn. Bellpost Hill 5-4-34. And that was on the De Grande Sport and Cycle third quarter scoreboard.
Goal kickers to three-quarter time. Yes, we have. We have got Kieran Fulton with 4. Harding has 2. Hetherington has 2 and Osborne 1. And for Bellpost Hill, left 5 goals. 2 to Nick Costello, 1 each to Whitney, Ford and Ettridge. We'll take a short break, come back. Final quarter action here from Gordon Tafe Oval. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
Final here at Gordon Tafe Oval. Bannockburn 4 goals in front at three-quarter time. Grubby, Bannockburn got a bit of momentum back at the end. Is that enough to kill off this late charge from Belpost Hill?
Well, Smithy doesn't think so. He thinks the game's alive, and it probably could be if they get the first one or two. But they upped the tempo, Belpost Hill. They knew that it was their last gasp. They had a really good first half of the quarter. But I just think they were glad to hear the siren, because in the end, the ball was up here, and I think Bannockburn were the only side that were going to score in that last 5 or 6 minutes. They kicked 2 points. 2 goals would have shut them right out. Don't ever write this Belpost Hill side off, but I think they're in trouble.
What do you reckon, Bucky?
I think Bannockburn are just going to be too strong. I just think around the ball, although Richie went right out of the game in that quarter,
Yeah.
I thought someone's got a job on him. He's done a terrific job. Number 23, I think. Sable's had the job on Richie in that third quarter and really stopped his drive. Look, you never write this team off, what they're capable of doing. They've got Ford back in the goal square.
They've also got Jack Broman back in defence.
Yeah, that's a massive compliment to the kid who I thought has been clearly Belpost Hill's best player, and that's Josh Andrews. Maybe time, boys, to push him a little bit further up the ground and
if I was Spiller, I'd be taken right back to the back pocket and sitting on the fence.
I would be too.
Yeah, actually having swinging on the swings over there or something. Umpires are still waiting for players or people to leave the arena, I think. I think
players.
I meant
They don't
not
want the players
No,
to
not
go,
yet.
I ran into Mick Higgleton at half time.
The skunk?
I said, you're going better this week. He said, we've brought something today that we didn't bring last week. No more to be said.
Final siren has standard, and we're action in the last quarter. James gets the handball out, goes to Sable, goes into the half-back line, half forward line for them. Ladgrove comes out, can't take the mark. Over the top, Middleton tries to force his way through the contest. Can't get out the other side. Umpire said it's going to be holding the ball. Free kick is going to go to Yates. So Jack Yates now with the ball, has an option out wide, goes to James, and he can move the ball on quickly. He's been held up. Looks to have the handball. Now he's called to play on, goes quickly. Forward, leads up at the ball. Can't take the mark. Out the back, Ettridge over the shoulder.
No.
Can't bring it back far enough through for a minor score. So 5-5 now for Belpost Hill. And Bannockburn remain on 9-6. And Clifton, it is doing the kicking in. Decides to go short and wide. Broman in some space by himself. Over the top he goes. Got a player outside, and that's Cole. No, it's not. It's Hetherington out there on the far side of the ground. So he just holds up now. Little chip further around the boundary line. Spiller presents up, and he takes the mark. Still defensive side of centre wing. Next kick's got to go towards Fulton. He leads up. He's not even going in that direction now. He's looking to go back into the middle. No, he's changed his mind now. Now he decides to go long down the line. Ben Cole's made some option down there for him. Pataglia, front of the contest, knocks the ball through. Picked up Robertson. He's got the handball. Wants to give the handball. Couldn't give it out initially. Picked up Belpost Hill. They win possession on centre wing. Deliver the ball back towards their half-forward line. Ball is wide and will land just inside the field of play, I think, and will be thrown in by the umpire.
They had a big last quarter from the captain, Yates. Been a quiet afternoon. Laid a nice tackle, but he needs to really insert himself on this last turn.
So Timmy Barton, as we said, doing the ruck work. He's up against Cole. Timmy Barton just taps the ball down, picked up. James actually couldn't pick the ball up, kicked along on the ground, runs back into the middle. Hetherington picks the ball up, has good pace, goes out the back, long kick. BJ Harding's there, and also Fulton is there, and he is going to go back and shoot for goal number 5.
You going to write him off now?
No.
I reckon if he kicks this, you can.
The belief from Belpost will be, well, there's time on the clock, they are still a chance.
You don't want to be 5 goals now.
Yeah, I know that.
That means they've got to kick as many goals in the last 20 minutes as they have
kicked
all day.
Yeah, I know, it's a big
can't
ask.
see that.
Yeah, football's a funny game, Grub, you know that. Anyway, Fulton loads up. Well, not load up, but from about 20 out, directly in front of goal. Umpire stands and sees it straight back over his head. He has his 5th, and Bannockburn have their 10th. 10-6. They lead Belpost Hill 5-5, and we have gone almost 3 minutes, final quarter. Morris Finance scoreboard.
The thing I like to see with Fulton is that he knows he's going to kick it, but he still takes his 30 seconds and everything and does everything right instead of hurrying it. And that's, I think they're gone, the Panthers.
Big finals make players. Young Hetherington's been really good today, considering he wasn't in last week. He had to wait for an injury to get in, but he's been impressive, Heath.
Oh, I think so. I think we've spoken about that a lot today, that hard-working centre-half forward. He's been busy. He's a fairly courageous player, uses the ball well.
And he's got more pace than I thought he had.
He's very quick.
Barton and Cole gets that down. Jack Yates, who Bucky's been calling on to lift his team. He's tackled, dragged to the ground. He's not going anywhere, forced another ball up.
I just wonder how much, he's done a lot of work in the ruck over the last, fair part of this year, hasn't he? And I just wonder how much that's taken out of his game.
Barton gets a beautiful tap out across to Costello. He
Good kick.
Kicks the ball beautifully down and finds Page on the lead. Page kicks into the forward pocket looking for Ford. He's been muscled out by a few. Ettridge picks it up, hand pass it across to Baseley, back to Ettridge. Tackle as he's kicked. Goes into a nest of Bannockburn defenders. Clifton's one of them, tackled immediately. He's got to be a ball up. Right on the point of the square. So it's only 10 metres out. Or it's 9 actually. According to Geelong line markings, Wayne Carroll. Ball goes up. Yates actually wins that tap out. Comes to Sable. Sable to Barton. He cricks across his body. Not quite through. Punched across the line by Bowden for one behind. Takes them to 5-6, and it's Lewis Clifton for Bannockburn, who has the ball. A beautiful kick of the football normally. He's pinpointed a pass and finds Cole on the half-back flank. Punched away from him by Page over the boundary line for a throw-in. 30 points behind, 4 minutes and 40 seconds into the Morris Finance last quarter, but Belpost Hill are well renowned for coming back from spots like this. Definitely don't chuck the towel in yet, boys. Keep us entertained for the next 25 minutes. Throw-in comes in. Cole and Barton. Cole gets a little bit of a hand to it. Barton follows up, picks up the crumb. But his hand pass is intercepted by Ritchie. Quieter in the third quarter after a big first half. Goes forward and Andrews again. Quick kick forward for his team. Jack Broman gets a hand into that. Punches it forward to Ettridge. He spins out of a tackle. Tackled by Ettridge, but gets his foot to the ball. James breaks a tackle. Hand passes away to a teammate, but intercepted by Battaglia. Ball comes out to Will Middle, and he kicks down looking for Harding. He's out positioned by Flacavento, but he's got himself back into the contest, forcing the ball to the boundary line, and has probably done pretty good for his team by getting a boundary throw in on the centre wing. So the veterans still desperately trying to keep the Tigers in the contest. And that sort of stuff is what the young fellas need for a bit of a lift to keep themselves focused. Nearly 6 minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter. Barton gets it down, but intercepted by Lockie Middleton. Got one high on the way through there. And he will take a free kick for Bannockburn right on centre wing. He's been instructed to kick long by his coach. Looking for Spiller. Andrews jumps over the back of him. Can't get it. Spiller follows up. And a neat little pass over the head of Fulton, running into space. Caleb Baseley first back there for Belpost Hill. Kicks across his body, looking for his teammate there in Quinn. Can't get it away. Harding battling hard to keep it in play for Bannockburn. Osborne picks up the crumb, kicks into the forward line over Fulton's head. But look who's standing in the goal square all by himself is Connor Jervis, and has kicked a goal. Another goal. That's the 11th. 11-6-72. They're back to 36 points in front of Belpost Hill. And we've gone 8 minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter.
Well, you can write them off if you want, because they are gone. And it's been a magnificent effort by Bannockburn. I think a lot of people got sucked in with the fact that Bannockburn played so poorly last week. But when you look at the whole side over the years, they've been in the top 3 or 4, Bannockburn, and Belpost still has struggled. So I always thought there was a gap, and they've made sure they've used that gap today, because they've just been too good for them.
Yeah, leadership great too. You can hear the voice behind the ball as well. Their defenders setting up and using their voice and instructing. They're all on the same page at the moment, this club.
So back in the middle we go again. This time the ball's taken out of the middle by Ritchie. Kicks into the forward line. Hetherington will lead in the race for the ball. Actually, it's Barton that's going to get there first. Can't pick the ball up just yet. Goes out wide. Has support now, and the ball from Baseley goes around the boundary line. Nice kick. Jones doesn't take the mark. Back there. Picked up by Jervis. Handballs around the body. Went back to Ritchie. Ritchie was tackled. Now there's going to be... Did he call advantage and then says no advantage, or is he going to ball up? Good decision. Now, fair enough. We'll have that. And he's now just waiting for the ruckman to come across. So Ford's back in the ruck doing some work. I say Barton would have gone forward. Ruckman come at it, going forward from that contest. Big barrel out of there, goes long into the forward line. Out the back, Ladgrove's the only one that stayed on the ground, who's going to get back with the ball. Costello not too far away, ball goes over. The boundary line will have a throw in to take place just outside forward 50.
I think the other thing, Smitty, where Belpost still can beat you is Jaden Ettridge and Costello kick 4 or 5 each. They stroll into easy goals. They haven't had an inch or a second all day.
So ball thrown back in, this time man doing the ruck work. Ball comes out of the contest. Lockie Middleton hand over the ball. Can't win it though. Goes out the back. I think it was Whitney got the handball away and they bring the ball back into their forward 50. Broman's there. Big spoil from behind. Picked up Clifton from the contest. And his handball is smothered. Ball goes back over the boundary line. Jackie Broman just a little bit slow off the ground, but he's up and about. So Benny, Joshy Cole doing the ruck work now. Man for Belpost Hill. Man takes him out of the contest. Ball goes back to the front. Picked up Yates. Little Brian turn. Kicks back towards the goal square. Good spoil from behind. Again, back towards Broman. Over the top. Jervis gets the handball out. Went back towards Jai Robinson. He can't take clean possession. Ball back over the boundary line. So again, with time on their hands, Bannockburn will think this is okay. Time continues to tick. Umpire throws ball back in. Again, front position. Cole takes it down, step further afield, goes towards Peters, picks the ball up, needs to get rid of it, got the handball away to Hetherington, got a runner outside in Robinson. He now on the left boot goes towards Fulton. Out the back the ball comes, good work there, Barton, there to support. Spiller's also there, picks the ball up and was taken a little bit high. And it'll be a free kick to that player in Spiller. So Spiller now called a move the ball on by the umpire. Goes in the Fulton direction over the top. Mark is not taken. Then kick from Whitney round the body. Goes back towards Barton and centre wing. Gets over the top. James is there. Picks it up. Wanted to get past Robinson. Will need to give the handball away. Robinson caged him pretty nicely. But a bit of pace there from James. Sees him go forward with the ball into the forward line. Was it inside the field of play? Umpire says no, it wasn't. Free kick is going to go to Bannockburn, it looks. And Luke Bowden, who's done a pretty good job down back today. So Luke Bowden now puts the ball back towards centre wing. Cole's the option. Forwards there. Gets out the back again. Whitney handballs over the top. Running player is Jones. Had a look around. Took one bounce. Looked up. Went to go long inside the forward line. Goes to the Costello direction. Spoil from behind. Ground level. Picked up Broman. Got the handball outside. Robinson's there. Goes back to teammate there, Ladgroves. Just stops props and kicks back outside 50. Heathering to come up from behind. Jumps at the ball. Can't take the mark. At ground level, he's pretty good also. Puts his head over it. One possession. Got the ball out. Out the back. Went into the hands of Quinn. He looked back inside. Kick wasn't great, but it's going to find Page, who actually went through the contest. Jones picks it up. Steps inside. Went to Yates. Missed the target. Ball there at ground level again. Man can pick the ball up. Got the handball back to Yates. Around the body he goes and hits the post. Hits the post. Jack Yates, a minor score. 5-7 now to Belpost Hill. 11-6, Bannockburn, and we have gone just on 11 minutes. Final quarter, Morris Finance scoreboard.
The young fella made a blue there. Yates didn't want it because he knew he had the handball behind to get to him, but he handballed him anyway.
So Ryan Bowden has the ball for Bannockburn. Runs out of the square, kicks long to the half-back flank. Cole makes position at the back of the pack, but it's thumped forward for him. Connor Jervis gets it. He races away, takes a bounce. Takes a second bounce now. Running away from Andrews. Kicks across his body into space. Flacavento is going to be the one to escort it over the boundary line. But Bannockburn, in the space of a second, have got 100 metres or more down the ground. And in the safety of their forward line, getting numbers back now, but players are struggling to get back quickly. Interested to see what sets up here while the boundary umpire throws the ball in. Staggard tries to take it, but it was Hetherington who ran through the pack. James has got it for Belpost Hill. A sloppy left foot kick. It lands with Jervis underneath the scoreboard. He hand passes to Jai Robinson, who drops it into a hot spot. Coming across, attempting to take the mark is Quinn. Gets it on the half volley, picks up the crumb.
Oh, where's that
Staggard. He kicks right across the goal. Half volleys into the fence, out of bounds on the full.
When it's not working, it's not working.
No.
And Lachlan Battaglia will take the free kick for Bannockburn. No, it's BJ Harding who cleverly got there first. And,
he's a sneaky little bugger, isn't he? He's been around a long time.
He'll take a shot for goal. He's only 35 metres out. Very tight angle, obviously the man on the mark on the boundary line. He's going for the drop punt. I'm sure he's been in this situation before many, many times. Running around now, kicks across the body. It's curling around nicely. The goal umpire steps aside, but the ball is slapped into the post,
I think it's a mark. Someone's claiming a mark down here, and he's paid it.
Fulton.
So Kieran Fulton and the goalpost come to a collision. The umpires deemed that Fulton has marked the ball.
Number 6, yeah.
So hard up against the goalpost is the man on the mark, so you could imagine the angle that Fulton is on.
Well, if he hits the goalpost with it, that's almost in the square. He should be in front, shouldn't he?
Yeah, maybe it's got to be inside, but Fulton now comes across with the banana. Oh, his teammates love it. Number 6 for him, 12 for Bannockburn, 12-6, 78, bell post, still 5-7. I think we might be nearly ready for game over, Grub.
Well, I think we might, but I tell you what, that's created another problem for Ronnie Pilgrim now. He's kicked 6, Fulton, so what does he do next week? Go up against McLennan. Does he rob Peter to pay Paul and hope Fulton kicks 5 or 6, or does he put Fulton in the ruck?
Again,
that'll be something.
You go back to Tari's philosophy here now and play your best side forward, and then if things need to change, you change them up.
You and Spider Brady can pontificate over that next week at 1:15, Grubby.
I'll tell you what, I'll have a day out next week, because if I can't out-coach that big mongrel, I'm not here.
So back in the middle we go again. This time again, ball comes out, goes to Robinson. Seems to be a little bit more run still in Bannockburn. Goes out wide, goes towards Battaglia. Can't get on the half volley. Picked up, kicked back by Link Peters. Goes back towards the top of the goal square. Coming out, ball, nice clean pick up. Bell post still, they run the ball out, and it will be marked there by young Vasika. And he will deliver the ball further afield. Sable makes some space and some ground. Harmer's the next option along the chain, and that's the direction he goes in. Mark's just inside the field of play. So Sam Harper now. Harmer just looking at his options. There's not too many. Dill Whitney's short if he wants to use him. He's going to go the longer option. Ball in the air. Spoil from behind. Both Coles got hands on it, and the ball goes back over the boundary line. We're going to have another throw-in to take place.
You know what, Smitty? I've out-coached Shaw, I've out-coached Buse, and now I've left Buck right in me wake. There's nothing I can't do here.
I'm sacked.
Umpire throws it back in. Benny Cole's the only one that went for the ball. Yep, good decision, umpire. Have a go, little fella. You all right?
All right. Give your shoulder a bit of a warm-up, son, and give it a big toss.
It's a pity they can't kick it in.
Yeah.
If you out-coach me, you poo-eater, I'll shave my head. Well, there you go.
Righto. Ball in the contest, and it's picked up. Harmer was tackled and put the ball down. Got an option back in the middle. I don't think I'll be going there just yet. So Link Peters just taking a little bit of time now. Look at his options. There's not too many straight down the ground. And unfortunately, that's the direction he's going to have to go. Spiller's got to be the target. Ball comes to the front of the contest. Picked up by Osborne. With a quick kick going around the boundary line. Lands just inside the field of play. And to say he found touch nicely, that was okay. So the umpire will throw it back in pretty close to where the Bannockburn coach's box is this afternoon. So Spiller now doing the ruck work up against Will Ford. So Ford brings the ball to ground. Picked up. Handball comes out from Sable. Middleton runs onto it. That's Will. Picked it up. Couldn't get clean passage out of there. And the ball's gone back over the boundary, although he says, is there a free kick?
Have you said that Belpost Hill have had trouble with Bannockburn consistently over the years? Have they struggled to beat them?
No, not really.
This year
they did. But over the other years, no, they've probably got the ascendancy over them a little bit.
Yeah, well, the last year I think they beat them at home, didn't they? Yeah. Ruck contest, ball to the front of it, and unfortunately, group of players around the contest, the ball's not going to come out, and we're going to have another throw up very quickly. Benny Cole's in there. Ball comes out. Battaglia, he's tackled, brought to ground. Umpire says it's going to come back to him, and it's going to be repeated once again. So the umpire doesn't waste any time. He's very quick in his movement to get the ball in the air. Battaglia again over the contest, tackled by Ford. And we're going to have a repeat, Rob, so it's not too much action here. Need someone to jump up over the top. Get a clean passage out of there.
Oh.
And there's going to be a free kick given.
Free kick will do it.
And it's going to go to Benny Cole by the looks of it.
Yeah, Will Ford just hand around the waist and dragged him out of the contest.
So Benny Cole now will kick the ball. his options are not too many back in the goal square, but that's where he's going to. There's not too many back there. Mark is going to be taken quite easily out there, basically going back with the flight of the ball. He looks up the middle of the ground. Good kick to Jones. No, sorry, to Andrews it was. He plays on, comes outside, back towards centre wing. Ettridge is there. Ball gets out the back. Harmer's also working pretty hard. Ground level, goes after it. Can't get pick up. Bath's there. Over the top, he dives on it. Now he might be in trouble. Umpire says that it might be okay, so they've turned him now.
Yeah, not from where the umpire was standing. I thought he was never going to pay that. That's fine.
So again, ball to be thrown back up in the air. Cole. Ford gets the last tap, down to Yates, handballs outside. Running player is Jones. He looks up, he goes long into the forward line. Costello and Ladgrove there. Good work to the body there by Costello, and he can go back and kick for goal. As we tick towards 19 minutes.
He's going to end up with 3, possibly. Probably 3 kicks. I don't reckon he's had much of the ball, Nick Costello.
No. Well, I tell you what, I went to a game one day where him and Ettridge kicked 9 goals between them. And had about 9 possessions between them. That's just the way they work. But unfortunately today, they haven't been both able to fire.
So Nick Costello steps in. Will kick from about 40 metres. We're right behind the ball here. It's a nice looking kick off the boot. It is holding its line. It is a goal. He has his 3rd. And Bellpost Hill, they're 6. They are 6-7. Bannockburn are on 12-6. We have gone 19 minutes, final quarter. Morris Finance scoreboard.
Well, they've tried. They've just been beaten by a better side.
Yeah, just outclassed
Yeah, they have
today.
been.
Just outclassed. They actually look a little bit tired. I mean, it's easy to say when you're chasing but they do look like their season's come to an end pretty quickly. And the fact that they don't have a ruckman, you're using your premier full forward in the ruck. I mean, it's.
Poor old Tari, he's just cursing. He's just praised to God every night. What happened to Brock Carter?
Yeah. Back in the middle, Ford actually wins the tap out this time to James. He can't get away. Ford is the recipient of a hand pass. A beautiful long left foot kick punched away from Costello to Broman, who's gone back into defence. He can't get away either. Cole. It's Josh Cole trying to get it out to a teammate. Can't. There's players just crawling all over the ground, desperately trying to find the footy. But I reckon they, at the 20-minute mark of this, the Morris Finance last quarter, I reckon the shower's all they're thinking about now. So it's thrown up. Ford drags Cole out of the way again, and it's been penalised for the 2nd time this quarter for exactly the same thing, trying to get front position, but just dragged him off the ball. So Ben Cole kicks out to centre wing. Jervis is there and takes a mark. He's had a pretty good game out on that wing, number 31 for the Tigers this afternoon. He kicks down the line and finds Hetherington, who's also put in a fine performance after being one of the 3 new players into the team today. He kicks it out in the wing to Ettridge for Bannockburn. He kicks long down the line and Fulton comes over the back, takes a great mark. Ball comes out to Lachlan Battaglia, kicks into the forward pocket. That's a poor kick though, misses his mark. And Bellpost Hill's defender there in, I think it's actually Will Kerrin is going to get a free kick for being held. The umpire said you've got to kick over your mark, son, so it'll come back. And Kerrin has the ball in the back pocket for Bellpost Hill. Short pass from him. Finds Mule, but he drops a very simple mark. Comes over to Osborne. He has a quick kick at goal, and the ball is going to go right through the middle and put another nail in the coffin of Bellpost Hill. 13-6-84 now. There are 7 goals in front of Bellpost Hill on the Morris Finance scoreboard.
They've found some goal kickers without Broman too. Obviously Fulton's kicked 6. Osborne's he's chipped in as well. They've got some dangerous options down there.
I still don't believe he's a forward, Broman. He's an on-baller. And they keep telling me he's fit.
No, I can't see it.
They keep telling me he's fit, but if he's fit, why would they put him to the flank rather than back on the ball?
Well, I reckon he'll play he'll play next week behind the ball.
So back in the middle we go again, and it's a ball thrown up. Both ruckmen, they can't get a hand on it. Ford did the second time. Again, Ettridge, another clearance from the middle of the ground. Goes quickly into the half-forward line. Basely running towards it. Picks the ball up. Got the handball over the top. Was nice to Jones. Went back on his right boot. Now he goes back, retreats a little bit into the hands of Barton. So Barton now is going to play on very quickly. Goes towards Yates. Kick had a bit too much on it. Coming up from behind was Cole, and he will take the mark. So he's got some time and some space now. So Joshy Cole now just to look to deliver the ball. He's going to go back towards centre wing. Spiller is the target from behind. Hetherington over the top, nearly took it out of his hands. Ball went back towards the boundary line. Hetherington working hard to pick the ball up. He's tackled, brought to ground, and the umpire will ball it up. Right where the interchange is here at St Albans, in front of the club rooms. So Cole has done a fair bit of the work in there himself today. Ball out the back, and Ford tries to take it from the contest. Back over the boundary line, another throw-in will take place. So we tick towards 24 minutes, final quarter. Cole still working pretty hard in that ruck. Ford's with him again. Ball from both ruckmen. Cole, actually it was Ford that took it out. Vasika gives the ball out to Jones. He's running player. Handballs to himself. Put himself under a little bit of pressure. Actually did that nicely. Tapped the ball between Connor Jervy's legs. Now he's got some work to do. Battaglia's right with him, and it's been held up. So we're going to have a ball up right in the middle of the ground. As we tick over 24 minutes, it's Bannockburn 13-6. They lead Bellpost Hill 6-7.
So we've got a ball up in the middle, Cole and Ford again. Ford leaning heavily on Cole, can't get it away from the pack. Little kick off the ground, finally gets it a few metres away, but players, very tired players, all fall on the ball and each other, and we'll have another ball up just outside the centre circle. It's a 41-point lead to Bannockburn, punched over the back of the pack to try and get some advantage for Andrews. Ladgrove kicks forward to Will Middleton. He kicks it across his body. He'll be looking for Spiller, who takes a very good mark. No, he can't hold it in front of the pack, but it comes across to Hetherington. Hetherington to Osborne. He kicks it in to Tristan Battaglia, runs around his opponent, kicks it long into the forward line, but coming out to take a relieving mark in the back pocket is Will Kerrin. He kicks down the line looking for Harmer. Has the ball punched away from him by Jervis. Jervis used his body very well. Hand passes across to Battaglia. He kicks into the forward line. Osborne picks up on the half volley. Can't quite control the ball. Bellpost Hill win it back, kick back into the middle of the ground. And coming onto the ball, jumping into his own man is Jaden Ettridge. But he finally gets a kick. Broman can't hold the ball. Mann comes forward, picks the ball up. Hand passes quickly to Page. He's tackled. Back to Muir. Slaps the ball on his foot, but it's marked by Bowden for Bannockburn. Short pass from him. And Tristan Battaglia marks, kicks into true centre half forward. Leading out for the ball there is Harding. He evades a tackle. Can't quite get a handle on the ball, and it comes back out, and Will Kerrin hand passes to James. James is dragged down by Will Middleton, gets a hand pass away. Coming through there is Cole. He hand passes it back, but intercepted by James. And the quick rover again with a long drop punt down the line looking for Luke Mann, who takes a very good mark. Not paid by the umpire. The ball comes off the hands of that pack and over the boundary line just at the interchange gates. They'll have a throw in.
Leopold 7 goals up on St Joey's. He's all over there.
Big win to the Leopold Lions. The ball's being thrown in. Ford and Cole again. They've done pretty much all the ruck work in this final quarter. Cole double hands over the back to Will Middleton. He cleverly gets it out to Jai Robinson, gives him some space. He drops a neat little pass into the forward line. Hetherington again. Hand passes to Peters. Peters, rather than grab it, punches it on to Osborne. He's tackled immediately, dragged to the ground. He's not going anywhere. The umpires pinged him for holding the pill, which I thought was a bit harsh, but that's the way they've done it for most of the day. Jack Yates gets the free kick to Baseley. Baseley finds Flacavento in the middle of the ground. He can't hold the mark. Tristan Battaglia picks up a crumb for some strange reason, hand passes it straight to Muir, who then hand passes it straight to Bowden for Bannockburn, and his short pass lands with Spiller to Battaglia, kicks into the forward pocket. The ball coming out. Yates can't get hold of it. Harding's trying to get a handle on it. He whacks it forward and it's gone out of bounds. Forward pocket. We're definitely in the shadow of the sirens now. 41-point lead to Bannockburn, 27.5 minutes into the Morris Finance. Last quarter, Morris Finance, the number one sponsor of the GDFNL, and very, very happy to have that association. Ball's thrown in. Nobody goes for the ruck at all. Hayden Spiller tries to pick it up, but Sable for Bellpost Hill finally gets a kick down the line. Page is first there, tackled immediately by Broman as he picks up the ball in the half volley. And the momentum of both of those gentlemen carries the ball over the boundary line. Yet another boundary throw in here at Gordon Tafe Oval. Big win for the Bannockburn Tigers. They were disappointing last week, but every bit as disappointing as they were impressive today. Very, very good performance indeed. Cole left hands it, looking for Robinson. Comes across to Harmer. He can't get away, but Crumbs picked up by Pataglia. That's picked up by Harding there. A very good effort for the veteran to Ritchie. He can't control the ball, but he's in there desperately fighting. Vasika hand passes out of the pack to Staggard. Staggard's short kick into the middle of the ground finds Baseley. He has a long kick down the line. Bo McNamara has now gone to centre half forward, marked in front of Josh Cole. Plays on, kicks long, very long, and very straight for a late goal for the Bell Post Hillside. They're 7th. 7-7-49, but Bannockburn are 13-6, 84, and that's up to 29 minutes in the Morris Finance last quarter.
One of the greatest defenders we've seen, Bo McNamara, but I tell you what, the last couple of weeks when he's gone forward, I wonder how good a forward he would have been, Smith. He would have been a good
Well, he played
forward.
one game on a wing too, didn't he, at one stage?
Yeah, my word. He's chosen the wrong profession because, you know, we all know it's easy to be forwards. Easy.
How many of these guys, Grub, just sort of going through the sort of Bell Post list, probably won't go around again next year?
I've been thinking about it. I think some of them will, but maybe not. But
So,
Pagey's gone, isn't he?
ball back in the middle again. Harmer tries to work out of the contest. He is tackled very quickly. Umpire says it's going to come back to him. And
I think
another ball up.
Fantella has definitely said it's his last year.
I'd say he's gone. I think Pagey maybe.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. Robinson, he tries to emerge from that contest, and he's not coming out either. They should have a mercy rule at this stage of the game. 29 minutes into the last quarter.
Now, we may have had a big upset at the netball.
So the ball in the hands there. Osborne goes into the forward line, Spillers out, takes it, can't shrug off the tackle. Probably needs to get rid of the ball. Did so eventually. Ball comes out. Again, a tackle as the siren sounds. And that will end the game, which will see Bannockburn run out winners 13-6 it is, to 84 to 7-7-49. Goal kickers, Fulton with 6, 2 each to Harding, Osborne and Hetherington. 1 to Connor Jervis, and for Bell Post Hill, there's 7 goal kickers, 3 to Costello, 1 each to Whitney, Ford, McNamara and Ettridge. We're going to take a short break, come back and go through everything that's happened here this afternoon. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
GDFNL footy has been run and won. Bannockburn 13-6-84 defeated Bellpost Hill 7-7-49. And Grubby thinks that his Werribee Central's netballers, his favourite team in Werribee, has pulled off the coup against Thompson in A-grade netball. Not certain yet, but reasonably certain. Grubby, you've got an update yet?
No, I got a text and it said Werribee won by about 6, I think, but... well, I said to Neville, and I've done the right thing over the last 4 or 5 weeks, boy.
You've been splendid.
Yeah, I've been splendid, but stuff them. Let's get back to the footy.
Heath Buck, thank you very much for giving up your time, but before you go, we'll take a last bit of knowledge out of your experienced, wise old head. What was the simple difference between the two sides today?
Oh, look, I just think one team looked really focused, to be perfectly honest. I just think Bannockburn, right from the opening bounce, looked like they meant business. And I think the 35-point win was, they looked like a 6-goal better team today, right across the board, through the midfield. Obviously, they're dominant in the ruck. I mean, what are they playing? Ben Cole in the ruck at the moment. Probably prefer to play Kieran Fulton in there, but he's going up against Jack Yates, Mann. They had Barton in there they just couldn't get it right in there, and Will Ford ended up going in there as well. But in that first half, the game was set up. You know, Richie got off the chain. They were hard at it. Contest work was really good. And then they just had some magnificent overlap run across half back. I thought Josh Cole did a tremendous job on Will Ford in that first half. And their defence was really solid. And what they did do, Rob, very well, particularly right up until three-quarter time. I mean, the game was done and dusted in that last quarter. It was just a bit of a training run in the end, but they just denied Bellpost Hill that outlet kick. They really set up well beyond the ball. They were well disciplined. They used their voice. I think they're a very well led team. And as much as Jack Broman was down on form today, I think young Josh Andrews did a terrific job on him. I think the move to half back, I think we might see him stay there next week. I think he played a lot better beyond the ball. Being the co-coach of the football team, I think it's probably a little bit easier to assess from that part of the ground. But I just thought it was a wonderful 4-quarter performance by Bannockburn today. I think they were led very well. Their midfielders are on top, and they had a dominant forward in Kieran Fulton, who was just a man mountain. I thought he was clearly best on ground. I think when you kick 6 goals, in a semi-final to set yourself up to a prelim, I think that was a dominant forward performance. And up the other end of the ground, they just couldn't really. Their forwards were well held. I know Costello in the end got 3 goals. Wilford got 1, but they were never really in the game, Bellpost Hill.
Grubby, one of the AFL stats about scores from turnovers, that pressure that Bucky was talking about, Bannockburn really did take an advantage when Bellpost Hill did make that error around the middle of the ground. They went forward and scored often. Yeah,
I'll even add to that. It wasn't when Bellpost Hill made the error. The Bannockburn boys forced the error more often than not. They just brought a passion, they brought a will to win, which they didn't bring last week. And obviously Ronnie's got them together and said, right, I don't care whether we win, lose or draw, but we are not going to play like we did last week. And they did that. I think if you have a look, I know I said it earlier, Inverleigh and Easter probably the best performed sides for the year, but then Bannockburn weren't far away. And for a long period of time, it was, who was going to make the 5? Would it be Bellpost or would it be Thompson? And Thompson fell away a bit, and Bellpost made the finals. But it just tells me that for most of the year, there was a class difference between these two sides. But we all get together and we think of the romantic side of it with Bellpost Hill and what they've done over the years, how they play the ground, their belief in themselves. But really, in the end, it just comes down to what's black and white on paper. Bannockburn are a better football side at the minute. I can really look at Tari. He's done a magnificent job getting that team to where he's got it to. I think on the eve of the season, he would have looked and seen Bowie Collins polled more votes in the Whitley medal than anybody else by 5, and he's gone. Gray went back to athletics, but the big one, I think, in this competition, when you've got the likes of Wilson, McLennan and Fulton, You need a ruckman come finals, and they just didn't have one. They tried Yates last week. You know, Will Ford went in there and went all right, but the game was pretty over. He actually was a running ruckman, and he got a few touches, but it's not what they needed. What they needed was to someone just to go and spoil Cole, who isn't a first ruckman himself, and make him play well enough so Fulton has to come back up the ground. I'll tell you this, on his best day, I think Fulton's the most dangerous best player in the comp.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, he destroyed Werribee Centrals here in 2-19, I think it may have been.
Both games.
Yeah, both games. Just, I mean, a ruckman who can go forward and have that forward nous. I mean, if they could somehow manufacture it where he goes in for 5 minutes into the centre bounces and Cole can go forward. But him as just a standalone key forward, he's going to be hard to stop next week.
Well,
very hard to stop.
And he's as good a key forward as anybody. See, when you look at McLennan and Wilson, I actually don't see them going forward that often. If they have a break, they come off the ground. They haven't got the forward craft. But this bloke could hold a spot down, which he did in the Team of the Year at centre forward, and he could also hold a spot down in the ruck. And that's so valuable because you've got a lot of little blokes, but I can tell you now, big blokes don't grow on trees, although apparently I've heard a whisper that Winchelsea might have a real good one coming next year. That bloody Butch Shaw wouldn't tell us a couple of weeks ago, but they've got a real good ruckman who's rucking in the GFL at the moment. So, but look, good big blokes don't go on trees, and when you got one like him, no worries.
And what Fulton does really well, I mean, he makes the most of his opportunities as well. He's just a beautiful kick of the football, Grubby. I mean, some ruckmen can go forward, but they're not necessarily the greatest kicks.
No.
But he rarely misses.
Yeah.
He rarely misses.
Yeah, look, and as I said earlier, Ettridge and Cozzy, they get a lot of goals, and they get around on the right foot and get. They weren't given a second. They weren't given an inch. They were tackled all day, and it was so hard for them. I feel sorry for Will Ford early because the ball just didn't come in that well. You looked up this end, and it was coming into Fulton beautifully, and it wasn't coming into Ford the best. But James tried his heart out early, and I reckon he did so much running trying to get himself into the game. I think he ended up blowing up a little bit. But Dylan Whitney, not his best performance. Dylan, he's one of my favourite players of all time.
Yeah, he wasn't 100%.
It just didn't play well enough. And I know that he's got an injury that normally you on this big ground, but they're not going to leave a great player like him out. I understand that. But as I say, he wasn't at his best. And there was a few others. I thought Yates has had a great year, and he was trying everything he could. He bowling blokes over and trying to get to it, but he just couldn't get to where he needed to get. And every single time a Bellpost Hill player picked up the ball, you had 1, 2, and 3 Bannockburn players jumping on him. And as I say, they've brought that out from their, let's say, insipid performance last week. And I'll bet you they don't put in another one next week. And we could be in for a rip snorter here next Saturday.
Well, I'm looking forward to it already, and I'm going to be excited next week, Robbie. Really, really excited.
I thought you sort of come in today a little bit down, Rob. But, you got to remember, next week, right, forget about Christmas and birthdays and all that rubbish. Next week's the second best day of the year. So I want you to come in and be a little bit upbeat about it, will you?
Right, I will indeed.
Smitty, you just don't even know what day it is up at time, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, look, it has been a great couple of days, certainly more enjoyable. I thought a little bit disappointing the 2 games last weekend, but both games this weekend had a lot to be excited about. And Heath Buck, again, thank you for your contribution, both pre-match for an interesting discussion with Reece Prismal about footy at Werribee and where your club is at. And I know that you'll be back bigger and better than ever pretty quickly, and definitely for your contribution through the game, as we had from Busey yesterday.
Well, we've had 3 magnificent contributions until today, so Heath's had pretty big shoes to fill, and he did that admirably. So, mate, thanks for coming in, and more importantly, thanks for paying to get in today.
Oh, okay, great. Isn't he just unbelievable?
You wouldn't take him anywhere, would you?
Steelo, I don't know what you do on a Sunday night. I don't think the Elvis show's on. We might go to a bit of classics or something.
Bit of jazz or something, Steelo.
Yeah, I've got a bit of... no.
We've
got a couple of songs till 5.
Jazz
put one
up
of
your
your
bum.
shows on, Steelo, because you do a magnificent job, Steelworks. Thank you again for your contribution today, mate. We love the fact that you give up your day for us and really appreciate it. And to the guys from Music Workshop, thank you for your support, Tyler and the gang here. This has been a GDFL final footy. We'll be back next weekend at 1:15 on Saturday for the preliminary final. This is 94.7 The Pulse. Your home. Of
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Steelo. Great job, mate.
Yeah, we'll do it all again next Saturday at 1:15.
No worries, mate.
I'll be back again next Saturday at 12 o'clock with my program. But let's take us up to 5 o'clock. I've got a bit of music
A
after
grandpa carrying a folded newspaper. A ute with paint cans in the tray. A little kid not looking where she's walking.
You could miss a lot if you glance at your phone while driving. When you're on your phone, you're driving blind. TAC, towards zero.
Station sponsor. The largest port in regional Victoria is Geelong Port, contributing more than $2 billion to Geelong's economy. A staggering 13 million tonnes of cargo flow through the port each year, and more growth is expected in the coming decade. This will help maintain Geelong's position as the largest regional port in Victoria. For more details, go to our website regionalchannels.vic.gov.au. And remember, when out on the bay, watch out for big ships. Station sponsor.
I am a line marker.
Have you lost your way? What you need is Geelong line marking. Owner-operator Wayne Skippy Carroll has over 30 years' experience in line marking, on-ground signage and stenciling. Geelong Line Marking specialise in car parks, factory safety lines, and Skippy can get over your sports ovals and courts in a flash, just like he did in his playing days. Check out Geelong Line Marking on their website or Facebook page. Mention the Pulse for a special deal. Geelong Line Marking, sponsors of 94.7 The Pulse.
Get outdoors and find a new favourite place. Our region is filled with beautiful parks, reserves, wetlands and open space areas. Indulge in your favourite outdoor activity or try something different. Pack a picnic, plan a walk, visit a playground, go wildlife watching. It's easy to embrace the space and find a new and exciting place. Visit the City of Greater Geelong's website at www.geelongaustralia.com.au/embrace the space to discover more. Station sponsor.
The region's 5 local councils and almost 200 local business and community organisations are our members.
We're working with hundreds of volunteers on projects that are priorities for the region's future.
And we're reminding Spring Street and Canberra the Geelong region matters.
We are G21, Geelong Region Alliance. To learn more, visit g21.com.au.
Sponsors of 94.7 The Pulse.
The Committee for Geelong provides strategic leadership to leverage the economic and social prosperity of the region. By encouraging innovation and debate, we focus on ways to overcome challenges and provide a united voice on the issues facing Geelong. As the region confronts the impacts of COVID-19, we're confident we have the strength, humanity and resilience needed to rebound and design our best future. Find out more at committeeforgeelong.com.au.
Station sponsor.
All right, that's about it. We'll take you up to 5 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock tonight, we'll be joining you with the concert hall at 8 o'clock. But between 5 and 8, we'll just have some music. And to keep you entertained till 5 o'clock here on The Pulse.
The power of community. 94.7 The Pulse.